stoked the fire and helped it spread, opening a window for firefighters to contain the disaster during the next 2 days. Strong winds persisted on Sunday in Ventura County, which remained under a red flag warning. Captain Rick Crawford of CAL FIRE said the threat level was expected to drop later in the day. The fire is now 40% contained, and firefighters were employing more than 970 fire engines and 34 helicopters to battle the blaze. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. A study finds that Americans need 6 hours of uninterrupted sleep at work in order to leave the office feeling refreshed and alert. Leading endocrinologists told reporters that more and more people are pulling all-dayers and drinking coffee just to keep themselves awake for meetings and conference calls, and that in order to be properly rested, employees should arrive at work, check their email for a few hours, and be sound asleep by 11:30 a.m. at the very latest.
In order for the body to properly function, adults need to make sure that they're well rested and they're not staying up too late at work.
The Lord our God, divine creator and ruler of the universe, announced Wednesday that he does not consider human beings his most impressive creation, saying instead that mountains are categorically superior in every way. Claiming that mankind was a good creation and worthy of praise, the deity explained that human beings simply pale in comparison to the slopes, valleys, and sheer magnitude of a snow-capped 20,000-foot mountain, and that while all humans eventually grow old and die, mountains last forever.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. You may dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well. The Skype username is lrn.fm. So coming up here tonight, there is a story about two, I don't know if you want to call them dating sites, because one of them is AshleyMadison.com, which is basically a cheating website. And then there's another one that is competing with them, and Ashley Madison is now suing this competitor because they say they are infringing.
Were they acting unfairly?
Well, they say they're infringing on Ashley Madison's branding. So we'll tell you about that coming up here in moments. And for those that don't remember, Ashley Madison was that site that got in some hot water after they got hacked and lost millions of names, I think like 30-something million account names and information about their account holders. So they are back in the news now. Also, Melanie, you've got a story about a 90-year-old woman who was kicked out of a nursing home.
Yes.
So we can start here with the metro.co.uk. The infidelity app Ashley Madison has threatened to sue a rival sex app after accusing it of copying its trademarks. Ruby Life, the firm which owns Ashley Madison, has ordered a hookup app called Casual X to immediately change its branding and slogan or face legal action. The cheating website is concerned that Casual X, which markets itself as the Tinder for casual sex, isn't that what Tinder is for?
I thought that's what Tinder
place?
was. That was my understanding of Tinder. I've never gone on it, so I couldn't tell you. But that was my understanding of Tinder.
I haven't either. I guess I have met people who have like met an actual person that they're in a relationship with.
That doesn't
Tinder.
mean that Tinder isn't a hookup app.
Right. In most circumstances, I've always heard people refer to it as
I've heard that the
app.
only thing you put on there is like a photo and one sentence.
Really? I don't know about
Which,
that. I can't imagine
it's
it's like that.
true, then that's a hookup app.
Yeah. That'd be wow. I don't know. Like I said, but Ashley Madison says, the cheating website is concerned. Again, Ashley Madison is concerned that Casual X, which markets itself for the Tinder for casual sex, advertises its services with the words, quote, "Life is boring. Desire a fling?" Ashley Madison feels this is too similar to its own slogan, which is, "Life is short. Have an affair."
Just the fact that Ashley Madison is suing anyone for really anything is just humorous in and of itself.
Well, and, I got to say, I have heard of Ashley Madison, but I've never heard of this competitor until now.
Well, it's probably new.
So, yeah, I understand that, but they're getting more press coverage now because Ashley Madison is suing them. So, otherwise, Casual X never would have gotten this particular media coverage, and I'm sure we're not the only people talking about this. It's also called on Casual X to stop using a picture showing a masked woman pressing a finger to her lips, which they say is similar to an image used by Ashley Madison.
Yeah, they're not going to have IP on people standing with fingers.
The two pictures do look somewhat similar. There are masked women with fingers to their lips, but again, is that illegal to have a similar photograph?
As someone who is not an expert in IP at all, I'm going to go with no.
Yeah. Now, you did go to law school.
That doesn't make me competent in IP. I am not competent in IP.
Yeah, but you're more competent in being an attorney than the average listener.
It depends on what we're talking about. In some things, my guess is as good as yours, and this is kind of bordering where that line is.
Ashley Madison is dedicated to helping married people have affairs, while Casual X, they say, is just interested in helping anyone enjoy a spot of no-strings-attached sex. Metro.co.uk has obtained a letter sent by an attorney for the Infidelity Service. Describing the images, it said, quote, "The main memorable elements that will be remembered by any consumer would be flowing hair, a finger raised to the lips, and the mask." Unquote. They went on to discuss the slogans used by both firms. Quote, "The only two differences in the slogans are the presence of the words boring versus short and desire versus have. In fact, even I, being a trademark lawyer, made a mistake of replacing fling with affair." Casual X's Jeffrey Zhang said the demands were unreasonable and said, quote, "Our image and their trademark are quite different." He says their trademark doesn't have a mask, while our image has a mask. Also, the woman on their trademark picture wears a wedding ring, which indicates that their service is for married people. The woman on our trademark doesn't wear a wedding ring. He says people can easily distinguish life is short, have an affair from life is boring, have a fling. He also said the small firm could not match the legal firepower of Ashley Madison and that rebranding would hamper their efforts to win new customers. While the slogan took inspiration from the Infidelity website's own words, Zhang told us he didn't think that it infringed copyright. Quote, "We need to spend a lot of efforts and time to reshape the branding awareness because the image has been featured on some big media sites and has been seen by many people." Quote, "Also, our app was once featured in Apple on their trending list. If we change the image, we'll have to create a new branding image for our potential customers." So there is the current spat between some of the adult websites out there. Your comments are certainly welcome. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Now, of course, as libertarians, many libertarians don't agree on the issue of intellectual property. And this is a very, very big issue when it comes to libertarians, because the true, in my opinion, libertarian position is that intellectual property does not exist.
Right. It doesn't. I will admit, though, that is kind of one of the more difficult issues that isn't immediately obvious.
Because it says the word property, and libertarians support property.
Well, not necessarily because it says the word property. Even if you delve into it, you do run into some issues that you don't run into with buildings or cars or computers.
Like being able to copy something a million times on a computer and not deleting the original? Like, what are some of the issues that you're referring to?
So there is kind of an incentive issue where on the face of it, but you kind of have to keep in mind that we're only used to the system we live under. But on the face of it, it appears that if you get rid of IP, then there'll be no incentive to create content. That's not false. True, yeah. But it seems to be the case if you live in a society with the state, which is every society.
Right, because people can't envision, they believe that without the government protecting the monopoly on these ideas, that would mean that creators, inventors, people that create art or movies or music or whatever would not be able to create and get the rewards that they can currently get, because the idea is they're protected from competition.
Right, and I mean, I don't think that that's as easy to kind of, because you could kind of picture like, okay, well, if we didn't have police, then instead of this horrible system, we could have private security companies. There's things that are kind of like that already exist. You can kind of conceptualize what that would look like. Well, you just hire someone who's stronger and or has more guns than you. Like, that's pretty simple and straightforward. Whereas IP, it's a little bit more complex with that. And the concern is one person makes something, they don't get paid, and then anybody who wants to can just copy it, which isn't how that would play out, but that's how it seems. I mean, this is one of the last two things that I kind of had to let go of.
Oh, you were in favor of intellectual property previously?
I mean, I was a statist previously,
Right.
but as a minarchist, that was the one of the two hardest, that and national defense, which I think does make some sense because there are issues there, but they're not issues that are solved by the state. So if you look at the current situation that we do live under, where you have, I don't remember if it was Ford, but it was one of the car companies who were suing people for IP for tampering with the cars that they outright owned.
Whoa.
You have Monsanto suing farmers for IP because something may or may not have... Not anybody who went and stole Monsanto seeds, but like the wind blew seeds on the farm and Monsanto's like, you owe us money. Like,
that's crazy.
These are the results of IP. So there is no perfect system like in anything.
Certainly. Let's continue the discussion here in moments on intellectual property. And you don't have to comment on the Ashley Madison case. I just thought that was ridiculous that they're suing some other company because they have a similar picture on their website and a slogan that kind of rings similar. The toll-free number 855-450-FREE like freedom. What a waste of time and money going through all these lawsuits. It's Free Talk Live.
Whether you share content as a curator or produce it as a creator, the source of your advertising revenue is often limited by intermediaries like YouTube. What if there was a way to connect content creators directly with advertisers, decentralizing attention-based market advertising transactions and putting the control back into the hands of content owners? Introducing the revolutionary Signal Token Protocol by Spective VR. Partnered with Blend Media, the largest network of 360 video content in the world, and featured on Fox Business's Innovations, Spective VR is a 360 VR streaming platform created to be the first use case and early adopter of the Signal Token Protocol, driving real use and allowing Spective to optimize their platform. SpectiveVR.com is hosting a pre-ICO for Signal tokens starting December 8th at a 40% bonus. For early access to the token sale and an exclusive 60% token bonus, sign up for the email list at SpectiveVR.com.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash at dash.org and help build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org.
Never, ever send a follow-up email asking, "Did you get my email?" Email 101. If it didn't bounce back undeliverable, it got where you sent it. And avoid transmedia pestering, like calling to ask, "Did you get my email?" or emailing to say, "I left you a voicemail." If your emails and voicemails aren't being acknowledged, your problem isn't technology, it's technique. Is your message concise and understandable? Have you boiled it down to seem as relevant as possible to the recipient? In other words, Is it the opposite of spam or junk mail? All of this really matters if you're a job seeker. But even if you're not, with money and attention so scarce now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in 1 application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin. mymagicmud.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us here. Bring up anything you want. Our number 855-450-FREE, like freedom. Joining you tonight, it's Ian.
And Melanie.
Also, we've got Skype at Skype username lrn.fm, so feel free to connect with us there if you like. Of course, there's lots to talk about here tonight on the way. Melanie's got a story about a 90-year-old woman kicked out of a nursing home, but we're talking right now a bit about intellectual property. We can get back into that here in moments. Want to also let you know about Dash Digital Cash. It's a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private and easy. Fees are low, transactions are quick, and can be confirmed instantly. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping run the Dash network. So join Dash and help create a better financial system for everyone. You can take back control over your financial future today and find out more at dash.org. There's a lot of momentum behind Dash right now. Go to dash.org and find out why. So, Melanie, you were describing some of the difficulties of, I guess, expressing the idea of getting rid of intellectual property, that we have grown up in a culture, in a society that accepts the idea that if an artist puts a series of paint drops on a canvas, or a series of musical notes in a certain order, or a series of ones and zeros together in a certain order, that they have the ability to then have the government from that point forward, as a violent criminal gang, go and enforce their believed ownership of those particular orders of paint drops or musical notes or ones and zeros and such.
Right. And it's not the most insane thing that statism has ever come up with. It's, presented as, okay, so you work to create something, so then you get paid if there's anybody who wants to use that thing.
Right.
It facially, it makes sense. It's not just some random, just kind of obscure, we're going to randomly attack people because we feel like it, although at the end of the day, that's what it is. It doesn't really present itself that way as obvious as some other things. I mean, it's not like the drug war where it's obviously, okay, you're just attacking people because you feel like it.
Right.
It's not, a parking ticket. It's not payroll taxes. There seems to be some connection between doing work and getting paid, but that's not how it turns out. And especially if you consider the fact that IP doesn't protect the person who creates it. IP protects the first person to the state.
The first person to get a patent or a copyright or whatever.
So that's an additional issue. And from the philosophical standpoint, okay, so you can't own an idea because you can't own neurons in other people's brains. You can't own an idea, and that means that if somebody takes an idea you thought of and puts it in their property, whether that be a hard drive or a piece of paper or whatever, you can't then lay some claim to that property. So you kind of have to pick between physical property and IP, which one you want to believe in, because they are in conflict. If somebody goes and illegally downloads 20 songs, in order for you to tell them they can't do that, you have to make a claim to their iPad, computer, or whatever it is they have.
Yeah, basically the claim is that they've ordered ones and zeros in an order that you have some sort of monopoly over, and so therefore you have the ability by legal plunder, the government coming in and forcing your viewpoint on these people, that you would have the ability to remove the series of ones and zeros from that device, because we're talking about data and that's how data is stored, to remove it from the device and then claim some kind of price for it, claim some kind of damages that you've been supposedly stolen from, which I think is a lot of the reason why you see libertarians supporting intellectual property. Again, there's a big, I would say, divide within libertarians, because libertarians...
I don't know how big that divide is. I think most people get it.
You think so? Okay,
we might be defining libertarians a little bit differently, and that might be the issue. If you define like all of the LP as libertarians,
the
or
LP is
like
the Libertarian Party. No, I wouldn't call those people libertarians, but I mean, let me try to give their argument, and I'm sure there's probably some pro-IP libertarian out there that can do a better job of this than me, but the argument is basically, well, libertarians believe in property. That's like one of the sort of the key elements of being a libertarian, is that you believe in the idea of property. I mean, generally, a libertarian is somebody who doesn't think that force should be used to achieve political or social goals. But most libertarians would agree with the statement that property as a concept is one that should exist.
A libertarian is somebody who doesn't believe in the initiation of force, which is a little bit different than what you just said.
Oh, sorry, I didn't say initiation of force. Thank you for that. Yes, to oppose the initiation of force to achieve political or social goals is a general statement that one would have to sign in order to join the Libertarian Party. And that doesn't really speak to anything about property ownership, but in general,
it does. It
not really.
That's the conclusion that you get if you believe in non-initiation of force.
You could believe in non-initiation of force and also not believe in property.
No, you can't.
Why?
Because you can't take something that somebody else used themselves to create, then you're making a claim on that person.
Run that by me one more time.
Okay, so if I use myself to create something, whether it's...
Use your mind or your hands or whatever.
Whether it's a field of crops or whether it's a pile of Bitcoin, whatever it is, and then you try to take that thing, you're taking an extension of me, so you're making a claim on me.
You're someone who believes in property.
Which is force against me.
Right. So, and I believe in property as well. You also, what you're saying is that you believe that the effort that you put into a thing, you're combining natural resources with your labor, your mind, and you create some sort of thing from that, or till the land and, homestead and these kind of concepts. I agree with them, but to somebody who does not believe in property, they just don't. They're not even on the same page to start.
I agree that there are people who say that they believe in that initiation of force, and probably some of them believe that, and also say that they don't believe in property, but those two things are in fact mutually exclusive.
Well, I mean, they would have to probably make a better argument than me, because I believe in property. I think it's useful that we have the idea of property. It's clearly, I think been a good thing over time for people to be able to own things, because they take better care of the things that they own. But somebody who did not believe in property would simply just not see what they were doing as the use of force. Oh, I'm hungry, there's an apple tree. I'm going to, pick the apple from the apple tree.
Well, I don't think that most people, especially most anarchists, even have that thought process, like, oh, I'm going to call the cops on my neighbor for being loud. Is that a violation of the initiation of force? I don't think that's a question that crosses most people's minds.
No,
so it doesn't really seem relevant to me what they think about whether or not it's a NAT violation.
The NAP is a non-aggression principle.
It either initiates force or it doesn't. Whether they are aware of that is entirely irrelevant.
Well, whether it initiates force or not is all a matter of whether you believe in property, right? Like, if you don't believe in property, then you wouldn't necessarily see it as an initiation of force.
There is an answer, so somebody is wrong.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's... I mean, I like the idea of property, but I don't know if it's necessarily wrong for somebody to not believe in it. There's more coming up here if you want to share your thoughts. 855-450-FREE.
If you or someone you care about loves outdoor adventure, then check out slingbow.com for some unique holiday gift ideas. That's slingbow.com, where we have some innovative new products for the archer, hunter, or bow fishing enthusiast in your family. Now through January, use the promo code HOLIDAY to get free shipping in the U.S. or Canada. And from all of us at Slingbow Industries, have a safe, joyous, and peaceful holiday season.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today.
Free Talk Live.
I said he was working for criminals.
You called him a criminal, did you not?
No, he might have just been a sucker.
He said he was working for liars and thieves and criminals. Isn't that what we would call politicians?
They've been crooked since the dawn of time.
Agreed. So let me ask you, what is somebody who takes money to kill at the behest of liars and thieves? What do you call that person? Because a veteran is the one who called in and boxed us in the corner on this in the past. I don't have an answer to that question. That sounds very nice, at least. Do you?
Truthfully, no, I really don't have an answer to that question except to say he was doing his job.
Well, I mean, that's what they said at the Nuremberg trials, right? We were just following orders.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us here toll-free at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype as well, so feel free to Skype on in here at Skype username LRN.FM. And joining you here tonight, it's Ian.
And Melanie.
Also, if you are interested in learning about Bitcoin, you should go to Bitcoin.com. Great place to go and get started to learn the basics about what Bitcoin is or what it used to be and what it's become. Which is a bit of a subject of controversy. But if you want to learn more, Bitcoin right now at around $19,000 per Bitcoin. It hit a record high within the last 48 hours of nearly $20,000. Not quite. Didn't quite make it if you're looking at the Bitcoin average price, which takes a bunch of different world exchanges and gets the average price for the globe. Anyway, go to Bitcoin.com. Great place to get started to learn the basics. And if you're old school or you just want the latest news headlines, they've got that too. You go to news.bitcoin.com. You'll get plenty of news about the Bitcoin universe there. Once again, that's news.bitcoin.com. As we go to Philip, he's on the line. We were talking about intellectual property, and Melanie, we can get back into that here in a moment. But Philip's on the line in, I believe, Michigan. Go ahead.
That's right.
Hey there.
I had a question about Bitcoins, especially when it comes to transaction fees. And
yeah,
I understand that the transaction fee can vary based on how many inputs the transaction has.
Yeah.
I guess inputs are like, so if you receive several fragments of a coin, and then you want to send a whole coin, you're going to be having several inputs. Let's say you got 20 fractions of a coin over time, then you send the whole coin.
That's right.
You've got 20 inputs.
That's as I understand it, and I am not an engineer when it comes to anything. So that's my basic understanding of it as well. I wish we didn't have to talk about how fees work because I think you've done a good job of kind of making it as basic and as simple as possible, but it does, it seems so complicated. When we normally would have just been talking to people about, oh, well, here's your Bitcoin wallet and you can put your Bitcoin in it and then you can send from it, and people wouldn't have to know the technical aspects of why the fees are what they are, because a few years ago the fees were only like a cent or 2 cents or something like that, and no one would have cared where the Bitcoin was coming from or how many different clumps it was pulling from, or inputs, as you put it, it was pulling from. But now with the fees, median fee being $15 these days, many fees higher than that, it becomes more important to explain fees. And I just wish we didn't have to.
Well, I certainly know no more about Bitcoin than you do. I don't own any Bitcoin myself. I was just trying to understand some of the technical aspects of it. And so I think as you go over time, the price of a fee is going to go up and up as the blockchain becomes more and more fragmented. I was wondering if there was any way or any plans that they have to defragment the Bitcoin holding. So, Ian, let's say you've got 20 Bitcoins and it just defragments it all. Here's 20 Bitcoins in a contiguous block rather than,
You can do that on your own. They can't do that because they don't have your private keys. So with Bitcoin, you're the one who holds your private keys, unless, of course, you've given your private keys up or given the responsibility for them up to another company like, let's say, Coinbase, who normally would hold your private keys for you, which gives them control over your Bitcoin. But in most Bitcoin wallets, you're the one who has control of it. There's no administrator that you can turn to say, hey, buddy, can you clean up this blockchain? It's a bit messy. So if that's what you want to do,
how would you go about doing it yourself, though?
Yeah. So if that's what you want to do, then what you would have to do is take, let's say your wallet, as you gave this example of 20 Bitcoins, which most people in the world would never get that many Bitcoins these days, but let's go with it. You've got 20 Bitcoins, and they've been, pulled in from various different places over many years, and they're in, 250 different little input clump things. You could then just move all 20 Bitcoins into one wallet in one fell swoop and try to set a low fee in the hopes that it would confirm eventually, and then it would all be existing in that one place after you accomplish that.
And I think that would probably be advantageous for people if they wanted to use Bitcoins on a microtransaction level.
You can't use Bitcoins on a microtransaction level, even if it's coming from one place.
Transaction.
Yeah, but even if it's coming from one place, you're still not going to get much below $10 for a transaction fee.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not going to happen.
I was just thinking that if someone wanted to use something on, let's say, buy $100 of something, it'd be easier if their wallet was defragmented, if you will.
I guess. But then again, you still have to pay a fee to try to defragment it in the first place. And if you pay a low fee, then your transactions might get stuck. I've had transactions stuck from a low fee now for coming up on, almost 2 weeks at this point. They're just sitting out there.
I know you have Roger on the show occasionally. It'd be interesting if you ask him some of those questions about those fragmentations at some point.
Which question did you want me to ask him?
Oh, about fragmentation and how the blockchain, how somebody can defragment their holdings.
I think I just gave you an example of how you could do that. You can just send it all to one address.
Prices over time.
Well, Roger Ver, I mean, I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure he is not a fan of what's going on the Bitcoin Core BTC network. So, I mean, the prices are screwed until they fix the scaling issues that are happening with Bitcoin Core. Then you're going to see escalating fee prices over time. If it continues to be a currency that people use, and it seems by all indications that people are still using it, which is why we're seeing, the fees being what they are. If all of a sudden the usage drops down by, let's say it cuts down to a tenth of what it is today, then maybe we'll see some lower fees. But ultimately, there's no hope at this point for the near future that Bitcoin Core's fees will be in any way reasonable. And restructuring your Bitcoin, as I suggested, is one way to do it. Also, you could send it to a SegWit address, which might lower your fees by about 25% as well. So that would be another way. So if you were going to do that restructuring thing, you would want to send it probably to a SegWit address. But the problem is most wallets haven't implemented this SegWit technology, so good luck finding one. So the whole thing is a cluster F, and it's an embarrassment, and it's really too bad. It really is. Phil, thanks for the call tonight, man. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. I mean, I don't get any pleasure from seeing Bitcoin fail like this. I mean, it's failing on one hand because it's useless as far as being able to send it for any kind of retail transaction basically under $500, whereas it used to be useful for buying a cup of coffee.
It's kind of not that useful for really any transaction.
It used to be.
Even from it used to be. It used to be useful for any level of transaction. It's not. Right. I mean, even if I was going to go buy something for a couple $100s, like a $10 fee is still kind of steep.
It is a lot. I mean,
even a traditional credit card, they don't charge on the same end, but they only charge about 3%.
That's correct.
So you'd have to be spending a lot of money to get close to that.
Right. So at a $500, 3% would be what, $15, right? In that case? No, that's not right.
3%. That's closer to.
Yeah. So 1% of 500 is $5. So 3% would be $15, right? So in that case, you would be paying a little bit less. But again, as you pointed out, the credit card company docks the merchant, whereas with Bitcoin, the sender pays the fee. So in a typical credit card merchant transaction, the fee comes out of the price of the item, whereas with Bitcoin, if you're buying a $500 thing, you're paying $515 on top of that, or $520, whatever the fee is on top of the total price. So it hits the consumer even harder when these fees go up. I actually just had a guy who is a local here in the Keene area send me a text over the weekend saying, I was just at Corner News, which is the local little newsstand here in Keene that accepts Bitcoin and now accepts Dash. And he says, and I was paying with Bitcoin. The total was $10, but I ended up spending $28. And he said, is there a tax on Bitcoin now? And I had to explain to him. I said, well, technically it's not a tax, but it sure does feel like one, in that it's not the government coming in.
I wouldn't characterize it like that. That's not.
What would you characterize it as?
It's a fee. I mean, you're
is
not
it fee
going
another
to...
word for tax in some places?
No,
I've seen
because
the New Hampshire government calls them
saying,
fees sometimes.
They can call it fees all they want with their taxes if it's being charged by the state of New Hampshire.
That's all I'm saying.
If I'm saying
it's not the
I'm providing the service, I'll do it for $15. You can say no.
Yeah, but he didn't notice. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, because it doesn't. Well, we'll continue here in a moment, so I'll tell you the rest of the story. Free Talk Live.
A young lady from the rescue delivered happy, and I panicked. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, and I thought, what did I get us into? The cause of his issue was poor nutrition. It was neglect. The other owners didn't care enough about him to give him the nutrition he needed. But I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite, DINOVITE.com. I ordered the first 90-day supply, and within a couple weeks, his skin started clearing up. He didn't smell. He had more energy. He just had a glow and a bounce about him. We've been using Dinovite for the last year, and Happy the rescue dog is Happy the healthy dog. I tell all my friends who have rescues to give their dog the chance at a new start with Dinovite. It's going to pay off for you and your dog for years to come.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000. DINOVITE.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free, bring up whatever you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. And we've got Skype. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. We can get back into intellectual property here in a moment. We actually had a caller on the line about Bitcoin and the outrageous fees that are being charged now for Bitcoin transmissions. In order to send a Bitcoin or a fraction of a Bitcoin, you, the sender, have to pay a fee to the network in order to, the fee goes to the miners, and the miners use those fees to upgrade their equipment, and they get rewarded for the work that they do, and the work that they do has to do with confirming
transactions on the network and making sure there's no double spends or fraud going on the blockchain. And the miners do a good job of that. But the problem with Bitcoin is that, or the problem with Bitcoin Core, I suppose I should say, because Bitcoin to me is like this thing that doesn't really exist anymore. But Bitcoin Core, which is what the original Bitcoin has become, is that it's full. And the network is just loaded up with transactions. In fact, I heard that they hit a new record high, which is not a good kind of record high. Yes, the price is hitting record highs. That's good. But on the other hand, the blockchain's mempool, the place where transactions sit until they're able to be cleared into a block, which the blocks are the sort of the guts of the blockchain, which is this public ledger that is ultimately what Bitcoin is. It's this public ledger with this digital cryptocurrency that is decentralized and distributed amongst thousands of locations on copies of that ledger. So what you've got a problem here is that the transactions are full. In fact, the overflow, this mempool, is now over 200 megabytes in size, so it is massively overfull at this point. As I mentioned earlier, I've got transactions that I sent a low fee on almost 2 weeks ago. They're stuck. And I've tried the transaction accelerator services, and those have not worked to get those transactions confirmed. So that Bitcoin's just sitting out there. It's not useful in my wallet. It's not useful in the wallet to which it was being sent. It's just kind of in transition and has been for a while. Now, Melanie, you asked me a question about a person who is at a local shop here in town in Keene, New Hampshire. They happened to contact me about this, which is how I found out about this occurrence. But he had purchased some Bitcoin at some point in the past, had not really done much with it, right? A lot of people buy Bitcoin and they sit on it. And then he went to Corner News and tried to buy $10 worth of, a pack of cigarettes or whatever it was that he was buying, bong or something. So he was trying to buy a $10 product, and he scanned their QR code to pay with Bitcoin, hit send, and then later he noticed that, that $10 purchase cost me $28 in Bitcoin. What? And so he sent me a question asking, is Bitcoin being taxed? And I said, well, no. It's not being taxed because technically it's not the government who's coming in here.
No one is stealing it. So if someone hacked into your Bitcoin wallet and stole 10% once a year, and you said, is this a tax? Well, there's an argument to be made for that.
I understand what you're saying.
Charging a fee for a service is not a tax.
I agree with what you're saying there. However, when the fee for the service is unexpected, when the fee for the service is more than double the actual price of the service itself, it's not unreasonable, and you should be able to understand why somebody who may not be as, let's say, good at defining the word tax as you or I might be, because we know that it has to do with the government enforcing
so
its
if a
view
state
on
has
us.
said to me, is this a tax, I would explain why it wasn't,
That's
but
right.
I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you shouldn't be using that word that way. Whereas if a libertarian said that, like, we know we have a problem. Like,
I didn't tell you this was a libertarian. I said this was a local person.
But you said it was a tax.
No, I didn't say it was a tax. He said, is this a tax, or is Bitcoin being taxed? And I said, no. However, I can understand why it feels as though it is a tax. Now, you're using the definition of tax that has to do with the government, but the general, there's a second definition of tax, which is to say a burdensome charge, an obligation, a duty, or a demand.
That's not in general usage, at least in the States, and not in any English-speaking country I've come across online either. I've
seen people use it. The old joke about taxing your kids' ice cream, to teach them what a tax is.
Okay, but that's a joke that's intentionally a metaphor.
Yeah. Look, Melanie, I get what you're saying the definition of a tax is. But when you get hit with a twice the size of the transaction, or a 150% of the size of a transaction fee on top of a fee, you could understand why somebody might confuse that with a tax, right? Like just looking at it at a glance, the total of the sale was $10. Then you look at your wallet after the amount that you thought was $10 was taken out, and it was in fact $28 worth of amount that got taken out. You're going to wonder what the hell just happened.
Right, yeah, it's a problem. You might say it's an unreasonable fee.
It is.
If that's
what I said.
Not an oxymoron in and of itself, but it's
completely unreasonable. And that's what I told him. I said, it's not a tax, but I don't blame you for feeling like it is one because you just got jacked. Just like when the tax man comes around. It feels the same, whether it's a fee or whether it's the government charging the fee and then calling it a tax. Because, again, the New Hampshire state government will also charge you fees, but we all know those are taxes.
Things that aren't things other than what they are.
So
all
I made
the
it clear
time.
to him
That's what
that it wasn't the state that was doing this, that this was a problem with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin fees. But this is not something that I want to have to explain to people. This is something that is happening.
Especially not after we've convinced them to adopt Bitcoin, right?
And so you would ask the question, well, how could he not notice?
And maybe his wallet works different than mine, but when I buy something at a retail location, I scan the thing and it comes up, do you want to send X Federal Reserve notes? And I have to tell it yes or no.
Yeah, I don't know
and
which wallet.
Maybe that's not how his wallet works. I don't know.
I didn't ask him which wallet he was using. But you're certainly right that if you pay attention, most wallets will present you with the amount of the fee, and then you can go ahead and decide whether or not you want to move ahead with sending that amount. But it's certainly possible. I mean, I've worked in retail long enough to know that customers are notoriously bad for not paying attention to things.
Yeah, people have done that with credit cards. People have done that with credit cards at Walmart. If, somebody else's order was still on there and they had... And if it's like a couple dollars off, I can see how you wouldn't notice. You go in and buy, especially in a state that has sales tax, you go in and buy $100 worth of stuff. It was supposed to be $104 and it was $107. You're not going to catch that. But if it was supposed to be $100 and it's $900, or in this case, what is that 150%, and it's $250, you should catch that before you swipe the card because the amounts on the thing.
Buyer beware,
usually
definitely.
The cashier says it out loud, so you can't really control that. They're supposed to, but it's on the screen. Like, there's no way for you to not know that.
In this case, you may not know it if
I don't
you just
know
hit
if
send.
that's how his Bitcoin wallet works.
I don't know either, but even if your wallet does show you the amount, if you're not paying close attention and you're not actually reading what's on the screen, like, oh, I got to hit yes again? Okay, I just want to send this money. And again, that's the mistake of the buyer in that particular case. He should have been paying closer attention, but there's a lot of things that we want customers to do that they're just terrible at doing. And I know what it's like.
I can't make somebody be reasonable. So I'm not asking you to sit down and read the 5-page long service agreement for iTunes.
Yeah.
That might
Nobody
be
does that.
That might even be a useless request because if you don't know that type of law, you're not going to understand it anyway, so it's a waste of time.
And they can change the terms later.
Right, yeah, so I'm not, I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to look at the dollar amount that comes up when you say yes.
Have you ever worked in retail?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you know what I'm talking about, where customers are completely oblivious to almost everything going on around them. I mean, even if it was flashing in
and I'm
red.
not saying this guy in particular because I don't know what his wallet interface looks like. But if it's on the wallet, and I feel like it should be.
It should be.
Then
let's presume it is.
You can't make a person act like a person. There's no computer program that you could possibly make that will make somebody pay attention to not even one sentence, like one symbol across the screen before they hit yes. There's no computer program on this earth that could be written mathematically that can make that occur. You can't make somebody act like a person, and if they're not going to do that,
I get you.
Then they're probably going to be screwed.
There's no doubt about it.
Couple of
I
times.
mean, buyer beware. People need to pay attention, but I don't know if you're following what I'm saying. As much as you might want someone to pay attention, they frequently do not.
Okay, but I'm not going to sit here and say cars are defective because people try to read newspapers while they're driving. It's not a problem with cars, it's a problem with people.
No, the problem here is the fact that to somebody
wallet.
who's not paying attention, they just had a bad experience. This person is now quite soured on the idea of Bitcoin. Now, again, you can blame the customer all you want, but the fact is, Bitcoin's the broken part. The customer made a mistake, but Bitcoin ultimately is broken because they're charging $15 fees. We got more coming up here. 855 450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
Guys, wouldn't your wife or girlfriend love it if you treated her to the very best this Christmas? Well, you can, and you don't even have to go out of your way. We're talking about the world's softest pajamas, available exclusively at Pajamagram.com. That's Pajamagram.com. Created by a team of dedicated pajama experts, the world's softest pajamas are lighter than a cloud, softer than a bunny, like cashmere, only better. She'll love the way the world's softest pajamas feel, and you'll love the way they look. More than a gift, they're a feeling, an invitation to relax a little longer. The world's softest pajamas are available only at Pajamagram.com. Visit today and give her a gift that keeps on giving to both of you. Plus, you don't even have to wrap because every Pajamagram includes free gift packaging and Christmas delivery is guaranteed. So visit Pajamagram.com or call 1-800-GIVE-PJs.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, December 18th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,260 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $18,753. Antiwar.com reports adding to the ever-mounting civilian toll of the Saudi air war in Yemen. At least 10 women were killed on Saturday night in the Marib province when Saudi warplanes attacked the vehicle they were traveling in. Saudi officials have not commented on their rationale for attacking the vehicle, which was carrying only women and younger girls, but it was one of several vehicles headed home from the capital city of Sana'a after a wedding earlier in the day, which may be all the answer we'll ever get. The reality of the situation is that 2.5 years into the Saudi invasion of Yemen, fuel is in short supply, and that even obvious civilian vehicles traveling from one city to another are presumed to be up to something and are subject to being targeted, which doesn't explain why only the vehicle carrying the women was targeted, as apparently it was traveling in a convoy with male family members and other vehicles, but only the women were hit in the attack. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a power outage at an airport in Georgia on Sunday afternoon left thousands of passengers grounded. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest airport, reported the power outage at about 1:32 p.m., stating it had impacted several areas of the airport. At 3:28 p.m., the FAA announced the ground stop for flights headed to Hartsfield-Jackson, meaning flights headed to Atlanta were held on the ground at their departure airport. The FAA said the FAA tower can operate normally, however, departures are delayed because airport equipment in the terminal is not working. The outage affected the train connecting the terminals, and Wi-Fi and cell service weren't fully operational. Georgia Power sent repair teams to the scene to work on the issue and said they believe the power outage was caused by a fire that caused extensive damage to an underground electrical facility. The Atlanta International Airport serves approximately 275,000 passengers and averages 2,500 arrivals and departures every day. For all carriers, more than 600 flights scheduled to fly out of Atlanta, or 54%, were canceled on Sunday as of 7 p.m., while 449 of all scheduled inbound flights were scratched. International flights due to land in Atlanta International Airport were being diverted to other Atlanta area airports. Power was eventually restored shortly before midnight. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports calming winds on Sunday helped slow the spread of a California wildfire that already ranks as the third largest in state history, having scorched 269,000 acres along the scenic Pacific coast north of Los Angeles. Officials said more than 8,500 firefighters were battling the so-called Thomas Fire in Southern California, which began on December 4th. It has destroyed more than 1,000 structures and threatened 18,000 others, including homes in the wealthy town of Montecito, just outside of the coastal city of Santa Barbara. The blaze, centered less than 100 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, has forced evacuations that turned neighborhoods into ghost towns and filled the air with smoke. Communities near Santa Barbara saw a break from the gusting winds that had stoked the fire and helped it spread, opening a window for firefighters to contain the disaster during the next 2 days. Strong winds persisted on Sunday in Ventura County, which remained under a red flag warning. Captain Rick Crawford of CAL FIRE said the threat level was expected to drop later in the day. The fire is now 40% contained, and firefighters were employing more than 970 fire engines and 34 helicopters to battle the blaze. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
For ages, scientists have associated the Earth's cosmic location with a wide spectrum of interstellar phenomena. But a study from the International Astronomical Union says that not only is the Earth far from the most interesting part of the cosmos, but is in fact located in the lamest, least awesome part of the universe.
We're billions of light years away from any supermassive black holes, interstellar explosions, or really anything even moderately cool. Our nebula just sucks so hard in comparison to some of the things out there.
Not only is the planet Earth and its solar system, quote, basically the most boring region of the entire universe, but a number of irregularly shaped galaxies illuminated in the Hubble Ultra Deep Field prove to be infinitely cooler than any of the weak-ass, boring-as phenomena occurring in the Milky Way.
I mean, there's a black hole out there that weighs 21 billion solar masses, and it's 336 million light years away. Our black hole? It couldn't tear a mid-sized star apart. We're the cosmic equivalent of a cul-de-sac.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up anything you want. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Joining you in our studio here tonight, you've got Ian.
And Melanie.
We're going to go right to your phone calls and thoughts. You can bring up anything you want. Jeff is in Oregon. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Jeff.
Yes, hi. So I wanted to bring up something. I'm a truck driver.
Yes.
And the government, can you hear me? Did I lose you?
We got you fine, loud and clear.
Okay. All right. So,
oh, it was loud and clear. And you just cut off with no more syllables or words coming through. Jeff, hang on. We'll see if maybe we can get you in a better cell signal here in moments. Let's go first, in the meantime, to Robert in Vermont. You're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Robert.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I know exactly what you're talking about, Ian, when it comes to the fees and everything. You know, because I had the same similar experience where I was transferring some funds from Bitcoin into another wallet, and because at one point Bitcoin was heading on its way to $20,000. This was
sure is
like a week or so ago, and it was exciting. And when I felt that it was kind of like it was slowing down, I just said, "Well, I'll just take." And when I put in there I'll just opt it back into this other cryptocurrency. And out of the excitement, when I did that, I didn't look and see how much the transaction fees were. But for a $500 send, it was over $100, that fee was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous, and so what you're giving an example of is somebody who is even you've been using Bitcoin for a while, and even you didn't pay attention to the fee.
Well, no, it's because it's the adrenaline, it's the excitement. It's like what's being said here. Like what's been said here for off and on quite some time with some of the hosts here is that you're going to pay attention to this. It's really no different than gambling here, really, in a sense.
Well, I mean, an investment
really
to some
why
extent has an.
I'm sorry.
Any investment has an aspect of gambling to it, in that you are risking possible gain or loss in the future. Certainly.
Yeah, so if you would classify investments as gambling, I think there's an argument to be made there. I don't see how it's any more like gambling than buying stocks or bonds.
Yeah, that's pretty much like gambling. I mean, I guess the argument that somebody would make against it is that buying a stock or a bond or investing in a business in some way or whatever could, in theory, be done with some level of knowledge, whereas, pulling a slot machine or whatever, you don't have any additional knowledge going into that. So that's just straight up gambling based on whatever odds the machine has versus the stocks or whichever cryptocurrency, which you may have a belief about as far as the potential for that thing in the future. To me, that's really the only difference.
You really got to, when you're making these transactions, even if it's just for your own self, you got to pay attention and check and see what those fees are, because you have that choice of whether or not you want to push that send button.
That's true. Buyer beware.
But that's not really the reason why I called.
Okay.
I didn't want to call. I wanted to ask you, the other night a guy called in and he talked about Ronald Reagan and him not having a driver's license. And I kind of wondered maybe if you might just, at least because I missed a part of that. I wonder maybe if you could discuss that, please.
Well, we have no idea if that claim is true. I mean, that was just the claim of a caller who made the claim that when Ronald Reagan was like 18 that he didn't have a driver's license or something like that. And that's about all I recall from it. And, we can't verify that claim in any way, shape, or form. But the person was claiming that Reagan was somehow some freedom to travel advocate who ultimately became, the president after, I think he was governor of California for a while, and then became president of the United States. So obviously, if it were true that at some point in his life he had favored to travel, he certainly didn't by the time he died, and was a complete arch statist, having run the federal government and dramatically presided over a dramatic increase in the size, scope, and price of that very federal government over the 8 years that he was there. So that's why it seemed pretty unbelievable to me that he would have in any way been in favor of freedom to travel. But people can change between the time when they're younger and older, and certainly the more time somebody spends at the halls of power, the more likely that power is going to go straight to their head. Robert, thanks for the call tonight. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Let's go to Dave Ridley from the Ridley Report via Skype. Hello, Dave.
Hello, malcontents.
Howdy. What's on your mind tonight?
I wanted to report a minor or at least partial victory with regard to attempts to increase the tolls in New Hampshire.
All right. Tell me about it.
So there was this sort of, I look at it as sort of an attempt to sneak in a toll rate increase. It would have been about $36 million on our toll roads.
Okay.
And the day before Thanksgiving, I guess, was when they announced, that this would be on the agenda at the Executive Council meeting. When the Executive Council meeting was December 5th. So there wasn't much time given, but folks did rally to stop this. I don't know if they literally rallied, but there was definitely a significant turnout at the Executive Council meeting on the 5th. And if you don't know New Hampshire politics, the executive council is sort of like the governor has. It's like the governor has 5 vice governors who can shoot down his spending. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think they have control over spending above a certain amount.
And they have meetings, I think, every 2 weeks. They feel a lot like, having been to some of them, they feel a lot like, a city council meeting, just with more people attending.
Okay.
And so anyway, people kind of pushed against this, and so the executive council voted to delay this at least, or at least delay a vote on it. They didn't make a decision on the 5th, so that gives people time to talk about it, time to rally against it. Last time, well, I don't remember the last time they raised spending, but I know that some of the things they spend money on include cameras to surveil you, so they apparently don't need money very badly.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's, putting off a vote is a step in a direction. I mean, it may just be delaying the inevitable raise of these tolls. What I'd like to see is somebody in the legislature actually propose to abolish the tolls. I think that's the direction.
They were supposed to be. I believe legislatively they were supposed to be. When they were put up, that was the guise under which they were created.
Oh, yeah, they always say that.
They were supposed to be temporary.
Right. Yeah, just as soon as we pay off the roads, the cost of the roads, then we'll take them down. And then they never take them down.
But I called into WKBK about this this morning, your local radio station. And one of the things I mentioned was that, like, if you look at the picture where they're discussing it, and the person who's standing there testifying in favor of it is he's represents the contractors organization, the building contractors organization. So he's there to tell you that he wants you to fund this thing so he can get sweet contracts.
How would that get him more contracts?
Pardon?
How would raising the toll get him contracts? The tolls are already built.
Oh, well, they'll figure out something to build, or they'll, I don't know what he's gonna get, but it's just, it's all the insiders tend to show up and try to lobby for their money.
No doubt. That's why it's great that we are here in New Hampshire, where we've got Daryl Perry doing Liberty Lobby at libertylobby.info. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance also doing great work in the State House. We've got thousands of liberty-minded people moving here as part of the New Hampshire Freedom Migration and more. Dave, thanks for calling in. That's Dave Ridley from RidleyReport.com. We got more on the way, and you can take control of the airwaves here at 855 450. Free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
When I get to about 3/4, when I get down to the bottom, a couple more scoops, it's time to place my order. Dinovite.com.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
If it's working, don't quit. DINOVITE.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. I'm here to tell you about GCNTelecare.com, a team of board-certified doctors assisting you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Within 15 minutes of registration, care your family can afford. Revolutionizing the healthcare industry, virtual consulting providing diagnosis of non-emergency medical issues by phone or secure video on computer or smart mobile devices. GCNTelecare.com, virtual care anywhere.
People search the internet for everything, including you. With a few clicks, information from your past can be quickly discovered, from business deals gone wrong to misleading reviews, negative articles, and unflattering images. Studies show 78% of people search for someone online before doing business with them. Will they find the real you? With ReputationDefender.com, you can establish a positive internet presence.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Dial in toll free. Bring up anything that you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We do have Skype, and our Skype username is LRN.FM. Coming up, an update on the case of Mark and Jody Emery, the cannabis activists. Mark, known as the Prince of Pot, who went to prison for 5 years in the United States for selling seeds on the internet. He is now back in court earlier today with his wife Jody, and we'll tell you what happened there in a few moments. It's Ian and Melanie in the studio here tonight. Also, want to let you know about the Blink home security system. Great gift for the holidays, although obviously your time is running out to get an order in. Go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. Maybe if you do it this week, you can get some increased shipping speeds and get it done. But you can get the delivery taken care of, and 3 Blink cams, you'll get them for what the other guys charge you for 1 security camera. Super easy to set up. There's a Wi-Fi-based, basically an app that you use on your whatever device you've got, maybe tablet or smartphone. You pop the batteries in these cams, you plug in the hub into a wall outlet, and then do a brief setup, and you're good to go. You can decide when you want the cameras to run, how long of a clip you want them to send you, and then wherever you are, you're going to get clips of what's going on in front of those cameras when something triggers it. You can go to blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's FTL like Free Talk Live. Blinkprotect.com/FTL and get your Blink home security system there. And by the way, some of our listeners had asked, or one of our listeners had posted on the Free Talk Live AMP-only Facebook group about the question of where the videos are stored, the concern being that if they were stored on a centralized server somewhere, that could be targeted, taken out, somehow could, be a bad thing. And I could definitely understand that point. But you can, according to the frequently asked questions on blinkprotect.com/FTL, you can download the clips that you want to download. So you can keep them on your device in addition to the cloud as well. So go to blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live, as we go to your calls and thoughts. We've got Jeff back on the line in Oregon. Jeff, we had a bad signal with you earlier. We're trying again here. Go ahead.
Yes, I pulled over, so I don't have a moving signal now.
Okay, great.
So what I was saying is I'm a truck driver, and in the industry for 20, 30 years, I don't even know how long, they've made us keep these logbooks.
That's
so
right.
That we can only drive 11 hours and we can't, and they have different rules about how, So anyway, today they just rolled out a new mandate which forces every truck on the road to have a device in their truck to record automatically their hours that they're driving and doing whatever.
Oh boy, that sounds expensive to implement.
Thousands of dollars for a truck.
Wow.
So I just want to stress to all the people out there that think that this is a good thing, this will keep truck drivers honest or whatever else. There's always unintended consequences from using government violence. And what is going to happen, what's already happening, is it makes it so that if I'm really tired, I can't pull over and take a nap now because my recorder, sometimes that counts against me and I can't make it to my destination on time if I take an hour-long nap. And I can't be late in this industry, and sometimes that being late would be 10 hours. And so sometimes, I'm really, really, really tired and my choices are to be 10 hours late or to take a little nap. Well, that choice doesn't exist anymore. And so now I'm going to be driving tired.
So why, just to understand a little more about this new system that they're forcing on you, why is it that you cannot take a nap? You can't turn off the system while you
it's because the government has a one-size-fits-all situation for everybody, and they say, well, you should be up for 10 hours or you should sleep for 10 hours and then you can drive for 14 hours. Well, if I'm on my 14 hours to drive or to be on duty and I take a nap, then that's going to cut out of my work time.
I see.
And then I won't have
it's
enough
not like
time
this
to
thing
make it to my
operates.
destination.
So you're saying this system that they're forcing on you, it's not like it has any intelligence whatsoever and like operates when the truck's moving. You're saying that
it does.
You log in and then it just goes ahead and figures you're going to be there for 14 hours?
No. It records my truck when it moves.
Yeah.
When my truck moves, it's recording.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, so they give me 14 hours for my work day.
Yeah.
And if I need 13 and a half hours of those to do my work, then there's no time for me to take a nap. Or, it will. It's just disastrous.
Okay.
Everything that it's just, when the government tells you that they think you should be sleeping or you think you should be working, I can't plan ahead for weather. Like if there's a storm coming tomorrow morning, I have to sleep now and then I have to drive in the weather, even though it's safer for me to drive now. You understand?
Because the government says so. Yeah,
because the government says that I'm tired.
So what you're saying is that this new system, because it's one size fits all, because it's some government bureaucrat who's probably never driven a truck before in their lives, who has implemented this, that it's going to result in more drivers being more tired on the roads, which when people are tired and driving, that is a mixture for death and destruction and injury.
Yes. And in bad weather and at nighttime and
wow.
and parked dangerously, because say you ran out of time before you could make it to your safe place to park. Well, you're pulling over, on the side of on an on-ramp somewhere.
Wow.
And the other thing is,
or else
and then
what?
If I'm
they
parked
find
in
you?
an on-ramp. Oh yeah, huge fines. If I'm parked on an on-ramp, the next morning I can't go inside the truck stop and get a nice warm meal to start off the day, which basically means I'm tired and hungry.
Oh my God.
It's just, and before, when it was on paper, you could just kind of, erase the line here, tear out the page and redo the log, you know what I mean? But now this is recorded and sent to the FMCSA, and so they know exactly, and it's GPS monitored too, so, forget about privacy or anything like that.
Right, so now you got to pay extra for the service.
And by the way,
it's crazy.
This is going to cause the freight prices to go up, which means everything that you buy is going to be more complicated to get to its location. It's just going to be a huge,
a cluster
boondoggle to get stuff to to the freaking stores.
Jeff,
So,
I want to say thank you
I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, thank you for the call. I know I'd heard this was coming, and I'd heard the professional drivers were going to have a protest over it. And so not a surprise that it is here regardless of the protest. Jeff, thank you, and thank you for your service. Thanks for keeping the country and the world together with logistics. Much appreciated. So, wow. These poor guys, man, they just get bent over the barrel 6 ways to sunset with these regulations, and it just keeps getting worse. And it's a job that it's going to be harder and harder to get work in because you're going to see more automation, I think, in the world of trucking. They're going to have driverless trucks at some point. You've already got companies like Walmart and others who are developing this, as I understand it, very heavily. Because if you can cut out the cost of the drivers, then that's going to bring shipping costs down. So keep that in mind. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You join us here. The latest from the war on pot in Canada coming up.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Most people think life insurance pays after you're dead. That's true. But did you know you can have tax-free access to your life insurance while you're still alive? You can use the life benefits of your life insurance to grow your money with certainty and guarantees. No stock market risk, no tax risk, and no penalties. Call Life Benefits if you'd like a free book about how this can be done. Call 702-660-7000. That's 702-660-7000.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live, dial toll free, bring up whatever you want here at 855-450-FREE. Like freedom. 855-450-3733. Coming up, a 90-year-old woman kicked out of a nursing home. Melanie's going to tell us about that story. It's Ian and Melanie in the studio. We're going to go to your phone calls and thoughts, though. Do want to let you know about Anarchapulco. It's coming up in just about 2 months from now. It's happening February 15th through the 18th, right in the heart of wintertime, but it won't feel like it down in Acapulco, Mexico, at the beautiful Princess Resort for Anarchapulco, the 4th annual event. It'll be my second. I had a blast at this year's event. Looking forward to 2018, where there's going to be great libertarian, anarchist, voluntarist speakers like G. Edward Griffin, Jeffrey Tucker, Roger Ver, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, Bruce Fenton, Brett Venat, Julia Taransky, Dana Martin, Juan Galtz, Adam Kokesh, Kerry Wedler, Vit Yedlika, and Sterling Lujan. You also get live music from Jordan Page, Backwards, Rob Hustle, and more. You can go and get your tickets over at anarchapulco.com. Use code FTL like Free Talk Live. That'll get you 10% off of the tickets. This is the premier libertarian networking party convention event. It's great, and you're not going to want to miss it this year because last year was awesome. Go to anarchapulco.com, use code FTL for 10% off your tickets, and there's also other tickets you can add in to extra events that are happening around the same time frame. And you won't want to miss Cryptopulco, which is included in the main ticket price. That's the final day of the February 15th through the 18th at anarchapulco.com. As we continue with your calls and thoughts, Tom is on the line in Nashua, New Hampshire. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Melanie. Hello, Tom.
Just after the new year began on January 1st, 2010, down in Georgia, 4-year-old Markel Peters was sitting in church, and a bullet that some idiot fired up into the sky to celebrate the new year penetrated the church roof and killed 4-year-old Markel Peters.
Jeez.
A little boy peacefully in church. I mean, what did he ever do to anybody? And the reason I'm bringing this up is because New Year's Eve is coming up, and, you know, you want to bring in the new year, that, you know, firing bullets recklessly into the sky is some people's idea of having a good time. It's a terrible idea because you could wind up killing some innocent person who doesn't deserve it. You know, there's no guarantee where those bullets are going to land. So, you know anybody who's talking about doing that, or you see somebody at the party talking about doing it, you know, don't you try to talk them out of it too, because of course you never see what would have happened. You only see when it does happen. But
it's good advice, Tom. People should be aware that what goes up must come down, and when that thing coming down is a piece of metal, it's probably going to cause some damage, either to a thing or to a person.
Well,
in that
not
case.
only that, but it's not just that, but if you make a habit of it, first of all, if you fire 6 blasts into the air, that's 6 times as much risk.
Yep.
And then if you do that every year for 10 years, then 60 times, and you and everybody else doing it, you know, the danger is multiplied. And for what? For what? I mean, it's not like that little
dumb.
kid ever did. What did he ever do to anybody? So
if you want to have things go boom, that's why they have firecrackers, and those stay safely on the ground.
Just as bad as those cops that threw that flash grenade into a toddler's playpen on May 28, 2000.
No, I'd say that's worse. I'd say it's worse when the cops throw a grenade.
Those seem equal because on the one hand you have someone recklessly throwing a grenade, and on the other hand you have someone recklessly shooting a gun, and
no, I'd say
somebody
it's
died.
worse when the cops threw the grenade because they knew that people were in the home that they were throwing the grenade at.
You know that people are standing in the ground and in the general vicinity when you're shooting a gun in the air like a stupid person.
Something controversial about don't fire bullets into the air. Wow, I didn't think I could get anything controversial.
No, I don't think that it's controversial. Tom, thanks for the call.
Thanks for the call tonight. There's no controversy here over whether or not one should fire bullets. I think everybody agrees that's a terrible idea of firing a bullet into the air. It's terribly dangerous and irresponsible.
If you do that, I don't think you're any better than the cops that threw the grenade through the window.
I don't think you're much better than the cops, but I'm surprised that you're actually ranking the cop on the even keel with the fool who's just drunkenly firing a gun into the air. I mean, the cops have an intention to hurt.
It's not like you can't possibly commit aggression to the level that cops do in any given scenario.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is you're not doing that 24/7, 5 days a week.
That's one difference. The other one is that the person firing a gun in the air is probably so drunk and stupid they don't really have any idea what they're doing.
Okay, but you got drunk knowing that you didn't do something with your gun to put it up before you started drinking.
No doubt, irresponsible.
B, you kept the gun on you while you were drunk. C, especially if this is the second time you've done this, you know that you have a propensity to, for some reason beyond me, wildly shoot guns into the sky. You're mad at the clouds or some craziness like that. So
I don't think there's that much thought that goes into it.
You're hanging around people who don't go like, hey, you're drunk. Why don't you put the gun down?
Right.
No, there's people treat negligence as if it's this separate entity that kind of just appears out of nowhere and nobody can do anything about it.
The drunk guy, though, isn't trying to actually cause harm, whereas the police absolutely are.
I think if you question those cops, they would tell you that they didn't think that flash grenades would actually harm somebody. I think they would tell you that they didn't think that it would land in a baby's crib. I think that they would tell you that they weren't intending to harm any person, though they clearly were intending to harm property.
Melanie defending the cops.
No,
on
I'm
Free
not
Talk
defending
Live.
the cops. I'm telling you not to act like a cop, because if you're shooting aimlessly,
You're
that's
acting
pretty
like a cop.
That's pretty cop behavior. Just shooting aimlessly at nothing in particular.
All right, you've convinced me. So let's go to Ricky. He's on the line in Pennsylvania on Skype. Go ahead, Ricky.
That is the Commonwealth, and I must apologize there, Brother Ian. I was going to go in this long thing with the Constitution, but judging by our previous call, I got something much more important, and it's gun safety.
Go ahead.
All right. Now, Miss Melanie, now I will say you're an anarchist, and at any given time, I will say I generally disagree with you. This is one of these times, amongst many.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, example, if I may, and you are an anarchist, and that's another story.
I am not an anarchist. Melanie is.
Not brother, you Miss Melanie.
I'm a voluntarist. I think all human interaction should be consensual.
Those aren't different, but okay.
Yes, they are. Anarchists suggest that you don't have any rulers, and I think Mark makes a strong argument that you have to rule yourself. Otherwise, you would just lay there.
Oh, I'm going to get into anarchists one day.
Okay, but let's talk about what you said, gun safety, right, Ricky?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Ricky.
yeah, let's talk about that.
Okay, here, you want to start, young lady, and then I'll make my very important gun safety point. I'd love to hear what you have to say about gun safety.
No, you're the one who called in. You start.
I mean, I could tell you like a couple random things about gun safety, but I don't know what in particular you want to talk about.
Don't point it at anything you don't intend to destroy. There's rule number 1.
Okay, so let's go. Thank you, brother Ian. You read my mind. Now, that being said, I have a new firearm that I'm going to be picking up on Wednesday, and I will demonstrate that firearm in Freedom on the Air. Now, here's the thing. First of all, the firearm. You know anything about guns there, Miss Melanie?
Yes.
Yeah, probably more than you.
Well, that's neither here nor there. But
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know how much Ricky knows about guns.
Actually, people are learning. Ricky may or may not know a lot of things. Now, that being said, let's talk about the gun I'm getting, first of all. It's, exact model. It's a Uberti 1873 Cattleman, 7.5-inch barrel, 45 caliber. It's a 4-position cock, C-O-L-T. It's actually a replica of the 1873 Army Cavalry revolver. You familiar with that model, young lady?
So wait, it's new or it's an old replica?
No, I'm not.
It's actually a new model. I have the broken safety. The base pin has been modified to replicate the original Cattleman. That being said, you should, when you carry it, first of all, the first safety precaution, then I'm going to talk about ammo. You should basically, when you spin the cylinder and you put it in its second position, which you use to revolve the cylinder, you put in a cartridge, you dip a...
Where is this going, Ricky? Are you going to give us a detailed explanation of how to load the gun that you're going to buy, or do you have like a point that you're trying to make?
When it comes to using
all right, well, hold on, mister. We're going to continue here in moments. Our toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Dash is set up to succeed where other platforms have failed. Give it a try at dash.org. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Yeah, it's Free Talk Live. Dial on in toll free and join us here. The number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Skype, so join us at Skype username LRN.FM. In the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Melanie?
Of course, you can bring up anything that you want, and also you can call in, or again, you can get onto our website and get interactive there. There are a lot of different options for you to interact with hosts of the show and other listeners, including our web forum. You go to forum.freetalklive.com, and you can get interactive there. Melanie and I are two of the users on that site, and there are a bunch of people who have been signing up recently. You can go and check it out. There's not only Free Talk Live subforums, but other subforums like cryptocurrency subforums and more. Go and check it all out over at forum.freetalklive.com. That's forum.freetalklive.com as we go to your calls and thoughts. Ricky is on the line in Pennsylvania. Ricky, you were explaining to us that you got a gun that you're ordering. It's going to be a replica of an old gun from the 1800s. And then without getting into how you use the gun, because that's not really that interesting, what was the issue you were calling about?
Well, if you may bear with me, there's a reason why.
I don't know if I will.
There's a reason why I'm saying this, because the ammunition that you're also going to put in it, if you use it, for a self-defense weapon. Now, here's the reason why. See, first of all, the first safety thing, now bear with me now, just trust me, brother, please.
I can't do that. I'm sorry. Just, you can try, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, don't be presumptuous. Now, no, really. Now, this is Ricky. Now, there's a reason why I'm telling you the loading of this firearm, because I'm going to talk about the ammunition when used, if it ever be needed to be drawn on a person in self-defense. Now, keep in mind, first safety thing I'm saying is the way you load it. Once you do, you take a chamber, you open the gate, you put in the second position, you put in a cartridge, okay? You spin it, you skip a chamber, you fill up the rest, and the last one, then you pull the. It's a single. Listen to me. You cock the hammer back, and you rest it back on an empty chamber. The reason why this model is identical to the original, it actually rests the firing pin on a live round. Now, let's talk about ammunition. Now, that's a safety feature to carry the gun, because if you drop it, it'll go off.
So this is an old gun where they didn't really think the safety through real well, and so you have to leave an empty chamber in order so you don't shoot your foot off or something like that with this thing, is what you're saying.
First off, that would be a wise idea.
Why would you order a gun like this and keep it around for self-defense? It sounds like you're more likely to shoot yourself than anything else.
I'm going to tell you why, and I'm also going to explain why I said this with the ammunition.
Okay.
See, I checked in there. Now, luckily, they have the ammunition that's proper for that firearm, and that would be a 200.
Scared? Who, me? Of course I'm not scared.
Go ahead.
That would be the proper ammo for that gun would be a 250 grain cartridge with a slug, a lead slug. Now, in comparison, what's very commonly found is a 230 grain FMJ. For the layman's out there, that stands for Full Metal Jacket. That was a bullet developed much later for other firearms. Now, the reason why. Let's imagine I have it on my hip, and God forbid, the only way I would ever draw that gun is if somebody had a gun on myself, most likely.
How long is the barrel on this thing?
7.5 inch.
Okay.
That's for velocity. It's commonly...
Look, man, where are you going with this?
Well, here, the ammo. Now, example, why use a 250 grain cartridge with a slug as opposed to a 230 grain with an FMJ? Reason. Let's look at the 230 FMJ.
I don't care anymore, Ricky. You've bored the tears out of me at this point.
No,
Melanie, you're into guns. Is he even in the least bit interesting?
I mean, this is kind of just random technical knowledge, and I don't know if you have a point.
Like beating a dead horse. He's got no get up and go.
You better save this real fast, Ricky, because I'm getting pretty tired of it.
Okay, now, if you use the FMJ 230 grain, the problem with that, this gun is accurate to 25 yards. Now, it will
25 yards?
It will be good at shooting a target.
That's not a very accurate gun.
But here's the thing. Listen, if you use that on a
75 feet? That's as far as this thing's accurate?
Handguns don't have a lot of precision at high ranges, kind of because you don't do I really need to shoot something that's 100 feet away?
Good point.
Good
point.
Probably not.
What if it's a person? Now, that's why this is important and responsible.
I haven't heard anything really important about your call yet.
I will.
Nah. Nah, maybe another night. Thanks for the call. Toll-free number 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's go to Lance in Illinois. You're on Free Talk Live, watching on YouTube at cam.freetalklive.com. Go ahead, Lance.
Hey, how are you guys?
I'm glad you're still awake after that call. Go ahead.
I know, right? I just have two things for you. I actually just recently found you guys from a buddy of mine. He just introduced me to you guys in the Fruit System Project. And first question was, since I haven't been following you guys, I didn't know if you guys had ever talked about or mentioned anything about the Q stuff on 4chan, and if that had anything to do with
the Q stuff on 4chan? I know what 4chan is. What's the Q stuff? The 4chan, for listeners that don't know, is an anonymous message board on the internet, which is the source of many, many memes for the internet.
Yeah. And Q has been like...
is that one of the subboards? Is that one of the subboards on 4chan?
It's been an anonymous like thread drop that's been going on since about Halloween. Apparently, and it's apparently somebody that is high up in the White House. The Q apparently was what they discovered has been shown to be for Q security clearance, which is like the top security clearance that you can get in the government. So it's somebody that's either directly in the president's cabinet or somebody.
What sort of things is this person leaking out?
Oh my gosh, man, it's been some crazy stuff. They actually were talking. The thing that really got me into it and following it was they started talking about the Saudi Arabia arrests before they happened, when all those princes and everybody over there got arrested and all that corruption started getting entangled up over there. They talked about it about 3 days before it actually happened. And they don't actually, the crazy thing about it is they don't actually really come out and say anything. They ask you a lot of questions, and they make you find the answers on your own. And a lot of these internet sleuths that put together these big long thread drops and things that have answered all the questions. And surprisingly, a lot of it's come true. And there's been a lot of little signs that they throw out there and things that people are connecting it to. And it's all just pretty interesting. I just didn't know if you guys had heard about it up there.
Melanie, have you heard about the Q thread on 4chan?
No.
I have not heard about it either, but I did just, do a quick Google, and there's, obviously people talking about this. What would you say that's the biggest revelation that has come out of this thing?
If you've noticed all this Hollywood pedo bust and all the pedophilia bust in Congress and stuff, that was one of the main things that they...
Who got busted for pedophilia in Congress?
There's a few of them that are stepping down for not pedophilia, but the sexual harassment charges in Congress.
Okay, well, that's not a surprise, right?
They're trying to tie it to the Pizzagate thing, which I don't know how true all that stuff is. I kind of have my doubts about that.
We talked about the Pizzagate thing here on Free Talk Live in detail one show, and it's interesting. There's not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of evidence. But then again, it's not the first time that anybody has ever suggested that people in positions of power would wield those positions to be able to get away with things that other people wouldn't otherwise be able to get away with. I mean, there was some pretty creepy stuff within that whole Pizzagate thing.
Exactly. A lot of stuff that needs to be answered, at least, at the very least. But they're tying it in with that, with guys, because it is in D.C. where all that's focused at. But then you started seeing all these pedophilia busts and sexual harassment busts in Hollywood, and that was one of the things that really also started getting me to following these guys, because they're talking about all this stuff before it happens, and the way they do it is just very unique, and they show they'll show pictures or something, a snapshot of a picture, and the people could connect that the president was there at this time when that picture was taken, and crazy stuff like that. Like I said, I mean, it's a massive long thread that's been going on.
I mean, to me, it's like to find out that politicians are sexual abusers or more likely to be sexual abusers of whether it be children or other adults. I don't think should surprise anybody, but I guess there are still some people out there that are surprised that politicians are the scum of the earth. So I
agree.
From that aspect, I guess it's useful. But I think there's still
that's the point that's opening people's eyes to it.
Lance, thanks for calling tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number, if you want to join us here, is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Unfortunately, a lot of people, even if they find out that some politicians have been behaving poorly,
They still believe in the system. They still believe that, oh, we just got to elect the right people, and then we'll have good, non-abusive people in these positions of power, which, of course, evidence is against that. The evidence is that power goes to people's heads and corrupts even those who already weren't corrupted. More coming up. Hour 3 on the way.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, December 18th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,260 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $18,753. Antiwar.com reports adding to the ever-mounting civilian toll of the Saudi air war in Yemen. At least 10 women were killed on Saturday night in the Marib province when Saudi warplanes attacked the vehicle they were traveling in. Saudi officials have not commented on their rationale for attacking the vehicle, which was carrying only women and younger girls, but it was one of several vehicles headed home from the capital city of Sana'a after a wedding earlier in the day, which may be all the answer we'll ever get. The reality of the situation is that 2.5 years into the Saudi invasion of Yemen, fuel is in short supply, and that even obvious civilian vehicles traveling from one city to another are presumed to be up to something and are subject to being targeted, which doesn't explain why only the vehicle carrying the women was targeted, as apparently it was traveling in a convoy with male family members and other vehicles, but only the women were hit in the attack. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a power outage at an airport in Georgia on Sunday afternoon left thousands of passengers grounded. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest airport, reported the power outage at about 1:32 p.m., stating it had impacted several areas of the airport. At 3:28 p.m., the FAA announced the ground stop for flights headed to Hartsfield-Jackson, meaning flights headed to Atlanta were held on the ground at their departure airport. The FAA said the FAA tower can operate normally, however, departures are delayed because airport equipment equipment in the terminal is not working. The outage affected the train connecting the terminals, and Wi-Fi and cell service weren't fully operational. Georgia Power sent repair teams to the scene to work on the issue and said they believe the power outage was caused by a fire that caused extensive damage to an underground electrical facility. The Atlanta International Airport serves approximately 275,000 passengers and averages 2,500 arrivals and departures every day. For all carriers, more than 600 flights scheduled to fly out of Atlanta, or 54%, were canceled on Sunday as of 7 p.m., while 449 of all scheduled inbound flights were scratched. International flights due to land in Atlanta International Airport were being diverted to other Atlanta area airports. Power was eventually restored shortly before midnight. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports calming winds on Sunday helped slow the spread of a California wildfire that already ranks as the third largest in state history, having scorched 269,000 acres along the scenic Pacific coast north of Los Angeles. Officials said more than 8,500 firefighters were battling the so-called Thomas Fire in Southern California, which began on December 4th. It has destroyed more than 1,000 structures and threatened 18,000 others, including homes in the wealthy town of Montecito, just outside of the coastal city of Santa Barbara. The blaze, centered less than 100 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, has forced evacuations that turned neighborhoods into ghost towns and filled the air with smoke. Communities near Santa Barbara saw a break from the gusting winds that had stoked the fire and helped it spread, opening a window for firefighters to contain the disaster during the next 2 days. Strong winds persisted on Sunday in Ventura County, which remained under a red flag warning. Captain Rick Crawford of CAL FIRE said the threat level was expected to drop later in the day. The fire is now 40% contained, and firefighters were employing more than 970 fire engines and 34 helicopters to battle the blaze. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Allentown, Pennsylvania 5-year-old Trisha Billings announced from her dining room Saturday that the circle was no longer her favorite shape. The landmark declaration comes just days after the 5-year-old changed her favorite color from red to purple. While experts have struggled to determine what Billings' interim favorite shape will be, the 5-year-old assured reporters that the majority of her favorite things will remain consistent for the time being. Disney executives revealed in an interview Friday that all of the company's animated and live-action movies take place in a single unified universe, saying Never Never Land is actually mere minutes away from the jungle where Timon, Pumbaa, and Simba danced in a straight line and sang Hakuna Matata. Company heads stated that every character from Air Bud to Jiminy Cricket all inhabit the same interconnected world, just as Walt Disney envisioned it.
A lot of people don't know this, but Daryl Hannah's character in Splash actually lives in the exact same coral reef where Nemo went missing. And if filmmakers so desired, they could have Princess Jasmine, for example, hop into Herbie Fully Loaded to go watch the Jonas Brothers 3D concert experience.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. As always, you can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever's on your mind. Joining you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Melanie.
And we've got Skype, so you can Skype into the show if you would like. Our Skype username is LRN.FM. Coming up, the 90-year-old woman that was kicked out of a nursing home. Melanie wanted to tell that story. Also, we'll give you an update on what's happening with Mark and Jody Emery, the Prince and Princess of Pot up in Canada. They went to court today, and we'll give you the results of what that was about and what happened. But first, to your calls and thoughts. We've got Jason. He's on the line via Skype. Go ahead, Jason.
Hi, I got a friend who is interested in buying some digital currency.
Yeah.
And they're selling a business, and they're going to have quite a substantial amount of money. to invest.
Sweet.
And they have questions. And I actually was telling him about IOTA and Dash and Monero, and he's interested in investing in all these different currencies, but the problem is I don't know where to tell him to go to buy any of this stuff. I use Coinbase for my digital currency investments, but that's
Right.
only with Bitcoin and Ethereum and Litecoin.
Right.
So I don't know where to and I haven't, I've been telling him about Bitcoin for years.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a call recently, and I don't know what to tell him. So I thought I'd call you guys.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting Bitcoin was always the easiest thing to do because every exchange and all the services that exist out there have Bitcoin as their basis. But now, of course, Bitcoin is so messed up with the fees being what they are. It's getting more and more costly.
What Bitcoin Core is.
Bitcoin Core. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, BTC, Bitcoin Core. But what we're starting to see is that services like BitPay, for instance, they just announced that they're going to be rolling out Bitcoin Cash integration across their service. Rumor has it that Coinbase is going to be adding Bitcoin Cash as well. But since Coinbase already has Ether or Litecoin, you can always buy some sort of thing that's not Bitcoin and then try to exchange it. Although in most exchanges, you pretty much have to have Bitcoin in order to exchange. So, I mean,
unless you use like Shapeshift, I haven't used that before.
Yeah. So the problem with using Shapeshift with Bitcoin is every time you send something into Shapeshift, you've got to pay the Bitcoin network fee in order to.
What if you have like Ether though? Like you could use Coinbase to buy Ether, and then you could convert Ether to anything else.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking there. Yeah, you could do that. Of course, the Ether network's been clogged up from what I heard based on the CryptoKitties thing that's been happening, where people have been making digital cats online with Ethereum, and that's apparently bogged down the Ethereum network. I don't know if it's near as bad as what's going on with Bitcoin. I haven't been paying close attention to that situation.
Well, is there anything going on with Litecoin? Any reason why it shouldn't be a good option?
I heard fees had gone up to as much as $1 on average, but they're back down now on Litecoin.
That's not bad though, really. $1. I mean, compared to Bitcoin.
Right, it's more reasonable there. And then, as you pointed out, you could use a website like Shapeshift.io to shift that into other cryptocurrencies like Dash or Monero. And various different, dozens of other options. So I would say using a site like Shapeshift.io is a great solution for the individual in question. And you're going to see in early 2018, I think you're going to see more options like Bitcoin Cash coming to some of these service providers. We don't know what Coinbase is going to add next, but there's a good chance. People are saying that Coinbase has been hinting that they're going to be expanding their options. So there may be more easy ways to get some of these currencies coming up soon in 2018. But I would say that what you've come up with here of using Shapeshift.io and getting something that's not Bitcoin with your cash is probably the best way to go as far as avoiding the fees.
Is IOTA on Shapeshift? And because
I don't
IOTA
think so.
is one that's really interesting, but there's just no way to get it.
Yeah, IOTA is, for a while, for listeners that aren't familiar, these are some of the alternatives and competitors to Bitcoin. IOTA kind of showed up on the charts this summer. It had never existed before, I think, June or July. And then it shot up real fast into the top 10. That's when I noticed it, was over the summer when it broke into the top 10. I was like, what's this thing? And I looked at it, and it is something that is very different from Bitcoin and the Bitcoin derivatives. I mean, most of the cryptocurrencies, there's over 1,300 of them listed at coinmarketcap.com. Most of them are derivatives of Bitcoin, meaning that they started with the Bitcoin core code and they changed it, and they made new currencies out of that. IOTA is completely different. They made a totally new concept called the Tangle, whereas most of the Bitcoin derivatives have something called a blockchain as sort of the guts of the system. The IOTA people say that their system will not have any scaling issues, unlike Bitcoin and Litecoin and all these other ones that are having these growing pains. The claim is that IOTA will not have those issues, but who knows what issues IOTA will have.
It's only $4 right now.
Yeah, well, it's up. You said only 4, but it was 40 cents 3 or 4 months ago, so it's up 10 times now as compared to what it was just 5 or 6 months ago. But of course, we don't know what IOTA is going to be like in the long run. All these things are complete speculation, so it's important to keep that in mind.
Well, I have a lot of friends asking me about Bitcoin because I bought Bitcoin a long time ago, and I've just been talking to friends about it for years. And I actually have a freelance business that I've ran for a long time. Are there laws against being like a digital currency consultant?
I don't know what laws there are. I tend to not read those things, so I couldn't really tell you. Melanie, have you ever heard anything about that?
I'm going to tentatively say no. I don't know where you are. I'm not aware of any federal laws against that. The only thing I would be concerned about is if you're giving investment advice, then you might run afoul of your state's financial advisor licensing rules. Other than that,
so it's probably not a good idea to put an ad on Craigslist or something.
An ad for what?
Being a Bitcoin advisor?
Digital currency consultant.
So what would you do as a consultant? I mean, exactly what would you consult?
Well, explain what digital currency is, and how it works, and if you want to buy some, you can go here.
That seems like freedom of speech.
Here's how you make a transaction, and then also, I could get paid.
I think
you're not telling me anything that sounds
teaching
like
them how to use it.
You're not telling me anything that sounds like investment advice.
Yeah, that sounds like just straight up free speech.
Investment advice would be like, oh, you need to put 5% of your income in here. You need to put 40% of your investments capital in this, and 10% in and invest X amount of dollars because you're this age. Like, that's investment advice. I mean, I can't speak that no jurisdiction has no law against a certain thing, but what you're telling me sounds like you're not doing anything illegal.
No, I mean, it sounds like you're doing basically what we do at the local Bitcoin meetups. When somebody who's new shows up, they have all kinds of questions, and we answer their questions for them. But if they ask me what to put their money into, I say, I have no idea.
I mean, because I can sit here and tell people this is what a stock is. If you want to buy stock, this is what an exchange is. Here's how you I can do that with something that I absolutely need a license to tell people when, where, and how much they need to buy. I've, as a tutor, done that. College professors do that, and they're not licensed as financial advisors. I could, go on Facebook and tell somebody this is what a stock is, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. And it sounds, if that's what you're doing with crypto.
But if you say, buy this stock because I think it's going to go up, that's investment advice.
That might be a problem, yeah.
Oh, okay. So let them choose what stocks or what digital currencies to invest in, but they're just asking me how to do it.
I mean, you can give somebody an opinion. You've got your own opinion about which ones you like and why you like the ones that you like, but I would be very cautious about recommending anybody follow those opinions. Because it's all speculation.
And this is something that I kind of know how to navigate, and because I've been specially trained in that for 3 years and ungodly amounts of money. So I can tell you I'm going to buy Microsoft stock, which I'm not, but if I was, I could tell you that. I can't tell you right now is a good time to buy Microsoft stock. And those things might seem the same to people. I think that an average person would see those things as the same thing, but legally they're not.
Hey, good luck, Jason. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. By the way, speaking of cryptocurrencies, all of the cryptocurrencies combined now have a combined total global market cap of over $620 billion US, and it only took 4 days to get from 500 to 600. More coming up. Free Talk Live.
From the third letter of Captain Mark. The Crown's observation conditions us to be dishonest with ourselves. Therefore, constant surveillance produces a society of constant deception. Honest communication is the seed of civilized conduct. To deny us this seed is to deny us its fruits. But the Crown's primary objective is to stifle free thought itself, to make its subjects incapable of dissent. Seasoned pirates have always encrypted messages and codes and ciphers, so intercepted transmissions were incomprehensible. But today the Crown possesses advanced tools of pattern recognition that document, profile, and predict our every move. Today, piracy requires hailing frequencies completely invisible to the Crown. We are tired of poltergeists in the static. Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels, or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Have you checked your ECS lately? We have. We are New Pharma, scientists who specialize in human functions controlled by the endocannabinoid system, or ECS. Let me simplify. Your ECS is involved in physiological processes like appetite, pain sensation, mood, memory, and immune systems. New Pharma's patent-pending science is the big difference in our natural solutions.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Did you know that Free Aid is a mutual aid, educational, and networking organization? At Free Aid, we support volunteers who provide first aid. We do outreach to the public about health and safety, and we bring together medically skilled freedom lovers. Free Aid is made possible by your generous support. Donors can receive great gifts like first aid kits, t-shirts, silver dime cards, and hoodies. The Free Aid Silver Dime Card Project is sponsored in part by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage, Freedom's Phoenix, and Don't Tread on Meme. Visit fr33aid.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. Joining you in our studio tonight, you've got Ian.
And Melanie.
And Melanie, you do tax preparations, accounting, bookkeeping for people. You are a professional, and you've just recently, within the last few months, hung out your shingle. You've quit your job and have moved full-time into consulting with folks about their taxes and giving tax advice. You can legally do that.
Yes.
Yes. So if you want to know, if you are a liberty-minded person and you want to have a real anarchist, she's certified anarchist, because I said so. And she'll do your taxes for you and hopefully get you to be able to keep more of the money that you've earned than you otherwise would, because she knows her stuff. It's too late for you to probably get your S together if you run a business for 2018, because there was some end-of-the-year stuff that you could have done, but it's you said last week it was already getting too late, so this week it's probably too late. But what can a business owner who's dragged their feet up until this point do, Melanie? Wait till the new year and get in touch with you and hope that you can still help them in some way?
Yeah, and I mean, you can. I can't guarantee at this point that I'll be able to get to you before the end of the year, because I do have some other stuff I'm working on. It depends on what you bring me. And if it's a minor question, I'll probably be able to get to it. If you're like, here's my bag of receipts, what do I need to move money to? Like, I might not. I can't promise I'll get to that.
Gotcha.
We got a week left.
Yeah.
So, but in January through April, then I can look over your stuff, do the taxes, sooner is always better than later with the IRS. Even if there might not be anything you can do. If you come to me in January, there might not be anything you can do about last year. Maybe you can set up either a quarterly ongoing thing or just a yearly kind of review at the end of the year for next time for, okay, this is what you need to do. If they're, and not everybody has something that they can do by the end of the year, but definitely for annual taxes, I can go over everything, make sure you're keeping as much of your money as, legally possible within your risk tolerance.
So for business owners, for individuals, you can help out individuals as well with their taxes. If you want to get in touch with Melanie, you can go to tax.freetalklive.com. That should forward you to her website, but for some of you, depending on the browser that you're using, it may not. So if you need to go straight to her website, you can go to bookkeeping-andtaxes.com. That's bookkeeping-andtaxes.com as we go to Richard in Arizona listening to K-Talks. Richard, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Melanie.
Are you there?
Hey, we're right here. Go ahead. Hello? Are you there? We hear you. Richard going once. Richard in Arizona going twice. I'll tell you what, we'll see if we can get our board up to pick up the line, and maybe there's a bad cell or something like that. We'll see if we can get that remedied and get Richard back on here. I know he had a question about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin. I had just mentioned before we went to break there that according to CoinMarketCap.com, you go right there at the very top of the page, there's the total global market capitalization of all of the cryptocurrencies in the world combined. And one of the things that I think has been the most interesting to watch has been this chart within the last 6 months. Because back in, let's see, was it June? Yeah. Back in early June, the total market cap, the value of all the cryptocurrencies in the world combined, crossed $100 billion for the first time ever in early June. It then took 5 more months. Now remember, cryptocurrency started with Bitcoin back in 2009. It then, in I think 2013, Litecoin started, which was the first sort of altcoin that copied Bitcoin and tweaked a few things. And then there was, another 1,000 more that came out since then. So you've had altcoins around since 2013 and Bitcoin around since 2009. For the first time ever, they hit $100 billion in June. Then, 5 months later, they hit $200 billion in early November. So you've got about a 5-month period of time from $100 billion to $200 billion. And then we start to see some really a lot quicker increases. So 200 to 300 billion. The point at which that occurred was 3 weeks later. So you went from 5 months from 100 to 200, then 3 more weeks to go from 200 to 300 billion. Then from 300 billion to 400 billion, it took, that's November 20. About November 27th was when it went to 300 billion, and then on December 7th, it was at 400 billion. So you're talking about 2 weeks in that case. So you just lopped another week off there. So it only took 2 weeks to get up from 300 to 400 billion. Then from 400 to 500 billion, it was only a matter of 10 days to get there. Actually, excuse me, a correction, not even 10 days. It was more like 6 days, and then from 500 billion to 600 billion, it took 4 days. So we're seeing now, maybe this is going to not keep up, but if it does keep up, we may see $700 billion in 3 days. We may see $800 billion 2 days later. I mean, who knows? This is getting crazy. We could be at $1 trillion market cap for all cryptocurrencies combined by the end of this month at this rate. That's how much money is being poured into the cryptocurrency world right now. And there are a lot of people who are saying this is a bubble. Other people are saying this is an adoption curve. I'm saying I have no idea, but it is amazing to watch it happen. If you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're going to try Richard one more time here. Board Up says his call checked out. Richard, are you with us? Richard, going once, going twice. All right, well, Well, thank you for the call. The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. Melanie, you had a story about a 90-year-old woman who was kicked out of her nursing home. What happened?
Right, so she is 93. She was living in an assisted living facility. She had told the people that she was... I think they're trying to say she was 3 months behind on the rent.
Okay.
They kind of insinuate that she had the money. She had told the people that she wasn't going to pay because she thought she was going to die soon.
Then why would it matter? I mean, if you're going to die soon, I guess the idea would be you'd want to pass the money on to your kids, right?
Yeah, 1 month's rent, which is probably a pretty steep amount. I mean,
at an assisted living facility,
$1,000 to $10,000 a month at some of these places. But so they tried to contact the family. They tried to contact some other nonprofits. They tried to contact some benefits assistance places in the state. Nobody was doing anything, so they told her she had to leave. She said she wasn't going to leave unless somebody physically removed her, so they called the cops. And so the big story is cops arrest a 93-year-old woman for, not paying rent. I mean, but what were they supposed to do?
Let's talk about it coming up here in moments. I'm curious to know where she is now. I don't know if the story gets into that.
In jail.
Really? There's more on the way here. You can bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Because usually when it comes to elderly folks, the police really, really don't want to be seen putting handcuffs on elderly folks.
Yeah, they really don't, because people get irrational about that kind of thing.
There's more coming up here. Free Talk Live.
A commemorative President Trump dollar for only $5? Yes, the historic Trump dollar starts at only $5 at TrumpDollar.us. Choose from our unique 3-coin collection in gold, silver, and copper. The Vote Trump dollar, inaugural Trump dollar, and Make America Great Again Trump dollar. Available only at TrumpDollar.us. Minted in the USA, our Trump dollars commemorate President Trump's patriotic stand. Order your Trump dollar collection today in time for Christmas delivery at TrumpDollar.us. That's TrumpDollar.us.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Makes the perfect stocking stuffer. Get your Bug Assault today.
This is the Onion Week in Review. Citing his erratic social behavior, nondescript occupation, and habit of accidentally walking off piers while pretending to read newspapers, acquaintances of 37-year-old Jeff Walther suspect he may be a bumbling spy. Residents of Worcester, Massachusetts are kind of hoping a Panera Bread will show up and plow over an obnoxious neighborhood bakery. Locals have said that the soulless restaurant chain, with its simple, impersonal experience, would be just the thing to help run the precious mom-and-pop establishment out of business.
Callahan's is really lovely and all, but it would be such a relief to have some college-aged kid take my order without making eye contact. I just need a cup of coffee. We're not friends.
A follow-up survey of Worcester residents confirmed that 72% of patrons would rather be alerted of an order by a vibrating pager than a kind-faced woman who calls everybody sweetheart. In other news, feds break up a brutal Las Vegas man-fighting ring. A Christmas card ominously makes no mention of the twins. And the Boy Scouts celebrate 100 years of preparing teens for not having cool friends.
This is the Onion News Network.
Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you got to keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited to join us on the radio here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Criminal trespass charge thrown against a 90-year-old woman for not leaving the nursing home that she was a part of until she decided she wasn't going to pay the bill anymore. That's the story that Melanie is sharing with us. I also want to share with you Omaha Steaks. You want to get the family gift pack for your loved one before the holidays? Well, you better get your order in like right now over at omahasteaks.com. But make sure you use code FTL, like Free Talk Live, up in the search bar, and you will get 75% off the family gift pack, which is loaded up with stuff. Let me tell you what you'll receive in the family gift pack. 2 filet mignons, 2 top sirloins, 2 boneless pork chops, 4 boneless chicken breasts, 4 kielbasa sausages, 4 burgers, 4 potatoes au gratin, 4 caramel apple tartlets, and the Omaha Steak seasoning packet. Plus, they'll throw in 4 additional kielbasa sausages for free. The way you get this deal is by going to omahasteaks.com and use code FTL up in the search bar. Plus, it's not just that deal. There's also over 500 gourmet gift ideas at Omaha Steaks, but the family gift pack's a great introduction to the quality of Omaha Steaks, the most flavorful, tender-aged beef, and it's aged for 21 days to unlock the full flavors of the cuts, hand-trimmed and vacuum-sealed. They've also got seafood, poultry, pork, veal, lamb, veggies, desserts, appetizers, pasta, soup, seasoning, sauces, and more. You go to omahasteaks.com. It's great stuff. We've been eating it here for the last couple of years in the studio since they've been a sponsor, and I really enjoy omahasteaks.com. We've had a lot of good reviews from our listeners on the AMP forum over at the Facebook group. Anyway, go to omahasteaks.com, use code FTL, and for less than $50, you'll get that family gift pack at omahasteaks.com with code FTL. Let's continue here. You can, of course, share your thoughts. We were talking about this old lady, 90 years old. She apparently could afford to pay for her stay.
It doesn't state that, but it's heavily implied.
The suggestion being that the reason she didn't want to pay to stay any longer at the nursing home that she was a part of was because she was going to die soon, she believed, and so therefore, why bother?
Yeah, so she figured, why pay the bills, which she can't really do anything with the money after she's dead, so it doesn't seem to make a difference one way or the other, but that's what she allegedly told the facility.
And then at some point, they called the police.
They called the police after calling a bunch of other people to try to help her.
Right, family members, others who might have been able to talk some sense into her. Look, Mildred, you need to cough up the money because otherwise you're going to be on the streets. And the reason we have you in the nursing home is because we don't want to take care of you, right? Isn't that why parents put older people in nursing homes? Because
I mean, it depends.
It's too hard to handle
it. If they need constant medical supervision, then that's... There could be a reason why you wouldn't be able to take care of them yourself, but yeah, sometimes it's just like
it's too much.
You didn't take care of me. You left me at an institution. Here's you left me at the institution for young people. Here's the institution for old people. See ya.
And so the cops came. She then still apparently refused to leave because they arrested her. Right?
Yes, they arrested her for
trespassing.
She went to jail. Yes, she went to bail. she went to jail where she shortly bailed out with a $0 bond.
Uh-huh.
And if you look at the photo of the handcuffs were not on there any kind of tight at all. They were entire.
Well,
she
that's
probably
good.
could have slipped out of them.
Yeah.
Obviously I wasn't up there, but from the photo, it's possible. It's entirely possible she could have slipped out of them.
Yeah.
But
they probably weren't too worried.
Yeah, I
about
mean,
her.
she's 93. What's she gonna do? Run away?
She was 93. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought she was 90. I mean, it's still, either way, it's pretty old.
So she's now living with a friend. So clearly she had other options. I don't know if she ran out of money or if because it's possible that she doesn't want to say she ran out of money. She's like, oh, well, I'm not going to pay because some random reason. I can see people doing that very easily. I'm not going to tell you I'm broke. I'm going to tell you any other thing I can tell you. But
so they actually had a photographer. There was somebody there taking pictures of the police arresting this lady at the nursing home?
There was...
Because the cops do not have to do this.
This looks like a picture in the jail.
Okay.
So I guess they could have switched handcuffs between then, I guess.
This is why I think that having elderly civil disobedience activists is such an awesome idea.
Wait, how is this civ dis?
No. I'm not saying she was doing civil dis.
Okay.
I'm just saying that the police do not like to be seen arresting elderly people.
Yeah.
It looks bad. Like, nobody cares if the cops are arresting a 20-year-old. They don't care about that. Because they just presume, oh, well, that person's bad, right? That person is a young person, therefore they must have committed a crime, so who cares what the police are doing to them is kind of, I think, the attitude of people. It's easy to turn your head away. But if the cops are arresting an octogenarian or what's a 90-year-old?
I don't know, a 93-year-old. I think they're just 90.
If the cops are arresting somebody who normally would be in a wheelchair or in a nursing home or, moving very slowly, not a threat to anybody generally, it's just hard for that to not look bad for them, even if the person did actually commit some sort of an offense. And in this case, she committed criminal trespass by remaining in a place after she was likely ordered to leave by somebody who was in authority to do so. So when generally that's when you get a criminal trespass charge, when it's legit. It's not the cops just making crap up to throw at you. It's when a property owner says, Melanie, I don't want you on this property anymore. You must leave. And then Melanie refuses to leave. Therefore, you're then subject to a criminal trespass charge. In a lot of cases, the police, when they show up, will give you another chance to go ahead and leave since they are there now, and it's clear that they've been called. Usually before the police arrive, it's like, well, if you don't leave, I'm calling the police. And then you call the police, and then you explain to the police that you
sit around and wait for an hour for the police to come up, to show up. So you have a lot of time to kind of leave. But
yeah, so she hadn't left yet. I'm guessing
they did not want to arrest her.
Yeah, they probably did not put her in handcuffs right away like they did to me in the Trespassive 12 when we were out at the jail in Keene a few years back, several years ago, I guess at this point. And they arrested us on the spot without ever having warned us that we weren't allowed on the property. And their argument was that a jail guard came out at one point this guard is known as Mumbles in the jail because he's not particularly well projected with his voice. So they sent Mumbles out to address a crowd of like 100 people, maybe 50 to 100 people. I don't know. There were a lot of people at the jail for this particular protest years ago. And I had no idea he had come out and said anything because I wasn't anywhere near the front of the crowd at the time this guy came out. Supposedly, he did issue an order for the people there to leave, and the cops just presumed when they arrived that we'd all been given a legitimate order to leave. And I had never at any point been informed that we were told to leave. But that didn't matter. They just came and arrested me anyway. And then we all got convicted except for one person. And the reason why the one guy didn't get convicted was because his judge was different. All of the facts in the case were the exact same, but he had the different judge, and so he was found not guilty. But everybody else was found guilty. So, I mean, there's no consistency whatsoever. But one thing the cops are consistent at is not arresting elderly folks. And that's why I say, if you actually had elderly civil disobedience activists, it would be such a powerful thing because you'd have people on your side automatically just because they're elderly. And people are so biased in favor of the elderly. I mean, it's unbelievable. Like if you watch Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree, the scene with the old lady, the crossing guard who attacks Derek J., that scene is probably the most hated scene in the movie. People cannot rationally look at what happens in that scene. I mean, even libertarians, a lot of them, cannot rationally look at what happens in that scene. They just see us being mean to an old lady. They don't see the fact that she assaults Derek J with a stop sign and is unapologetic for it throughout the entire encounter. They don't see that. Even though it's crystal clear that that's what's actually happening, it's just like a tremendous blind spot that people have.
And it's completely the opposite of logic, because the older you are, assuming you've been in the same country and are somewhat the same demographics, the more time you've had to put yourself in a better position. So somebody who's flat broke who's 93 has had innumerable more chances than somebody who's flat broke and is 18.
That's true.
To put themselves in a better position. So it's the exact opposite of what makes any kind of logical sense.
Your calls and thoughts are welcome in the remaining moments of Free Talk Live. Coming up here, 8:55, 450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live. You can join us.
I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in like 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
Do you want to help build a better financial system for everyone? Join Dash. Dash is Digital Cash, a digital money platform designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy. Fees are low and transactions are confirmed instantly. Dash is decentralized, run by users who earn rewards for helping run the network and make governance decisions. Help people take control over their financial future today. Find out more at dash.org.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Shop online and support Free Talk Live. Every purchase you make at shop.freetalklive.com helps spread a message of liberty. From shop.freetalklive.com, you can shop at places like Walmart, Newegg, Amazon UK, Amazon Canada, Omaha Steaks, HostGator, and more. Plus, you can get discounts on web hosting, legal documents, or pretty much anything using saveatpurse.com. Just bookmark the link and help Free Talk Live while shopping online. Thank you for shopping with shop.freetalklive.com.
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government. The real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Nestle Toll House Refrigerated Cookie Dough. Who would you bake some love for? Find fun and easy baking ideas at tollhouse.com. Kids love doing arts and crafts projects, especially when you join in. Try channeling all that artistic energy into the kitchen and bake up some creative treats together. Think of your art supplies as the frosting, sprinkles, and decorating gels, and use cookies or cupcakes as your canvas. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Dial toll-free. Join us on the radio here in these remaining moments. There's enough time for you if you call in now at 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Melanie.
Don't forget, you can join us online at freetalklive.com. If you like the show and you appreciate what we do here on Free Talk Live, then please AMP Free Talk Live. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. The idea is you send in $5 a month to Free Talk Live. We invest that into the show, and we use that to get on more radio stations around the country. We don't actually buy the time. That would be way too expensive. We pitch the show to them based on merit. We have over 160 stations who have added us, not because we're paying for it. We, earned it. And what we pay for is things like marketing to those stations, paying Daryl to help me with calling the hundreds and hundreds of talk radio stations out there, and again, doing some advertising within the industry publications to reach program directors. You can see more about what we do with the money over at amp.freetalklive.com and get a list of the cool perks that you'll get access to as a Free Talk Live amplifier, which includes, on our brand new forum, you get the AMP badge, the special badge reserved for Free Talk Live amplifiers over at forum.freetalklive.com, and you get access to the AMP-only call-in lines and more. Just go to amp.freetalklive.com to learn more and get started with any major credit card. Also, PayPal, you can go to, and Bitcoin for those of you that still want to spend that thing. Go to amp.freetalklive.com as we go to Richard in Arizona. Richard, you're on Free Talk Live.
Okay, I hope it works this time.
We hear you.
Yay!
All right.
I've been listening to you guys pitching the currency stuff.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I've never seen anybody dwell on is, after I buy all these things and I've got an investment portfolio of X number of dollars, how the heck do I get my money back?
Yeah, that's a good question. And it can be a little tricky to get out of cryptocurrency. We were just talking with a gentleman a few moments ago, Jason, who'd called in on Skype about this. There are different services that allow you to more easily than others turn cryptocurrency into U.S. dollars. Coinbase is one of them. They're kind of like the big bank of cryptocurrency, so there's not a whole lot to like about Coinbase. They tend to be slow. Right now they're loaded up with new users, so they're even slower than they normally are as far as, like, if you need customer service or something like that, it may be a day or more than a few days before they get back to you. But they do have an interface that easily allows you to plug in a bank account, and then at any time you can sell off your Bitcoin Core, your Litecoin, or your Ether to them. So if you have other cryptocurrencies, you can use a site called Shapeshift.io, and you can shapeshift from one currency into another, and then take one of those three currencies and then sell those directly for dollars through the Coinbase site. That's one way to do it. Another way would be through a company called BitPay. These are U.S.-based options. There's also similar solutions in other countries, or there may or may not be. But BitPay.com is a site that actually allows you to set up a debit card, which is fueled with Bitcoin. So you would send Bitcoin to this debit card, and then at the time that you send the Bitcoin, it converts that into U.S. dollars and loads up the debit card with dollars. Also, BitPay can interface with a bank account as well. So that's another way to do it. And then a third way, the more anonymous way, is to just simply find somebody locally who's willing to give you cash.
Yeah. In the event that you run into a situation where you have to go ahead and cash that in, is there a fee involved in making that transition?
Yes. Yeah. Most of the time when you when you change from one currency to another, you're going to get charged some sort of a fee.
In the case
Which is true of the standard white market stuff too. If I sell stock, there's a fee. If I exchange
fiat
reserve
to fiat,
notes,
there's going to be a fee.
to euros, there's a fee.
Right. So in this case, the fees are pretty low. I believe the last time I looked, BitPay was charging 1% on their fee to exit from Bitcoin Core into US dollars. Was a 1% bank fee, basically, was what they would charge you for that. So nothing huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, depending on how much you have, where you are, and how long you are willing to wait, you could, potentially find somebody to just buy it as a person.
Right.
And there aren't fees for that other than the transaction
There may
fees.
be. I mean, the person may decide to charge you a fee depending on how badly they want to buy the Bitcoin. There's a machine in Manchester, New Hampshire that will buy Bitcoin back with cash, but it's 2% off of, so 2% below the market rate. So for the convenience, you pay a little bit extra.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
Like everything else. Yeah, that's, I don't know. I don't have a lot of money. I mean, if you can do $100,000 worth of stuff and see if it'll go up and then cash it and take a run, I don't know whether that's the right way to do it or not.
Yeah, I mean, I would never recommend anybody pour anything into something that's uncertain without being of the understanding that you could lose it. Right. And so if you don't have a whole lot of money, then the best answer would be to, I like what Johnny Ray does. I think this is an interesting strategy. And again, I'm not an investment advisor. This is just what I think is a good way to acquire cryptocurrency, which is to say that you take a little bit of money from each paycheck or every week or every other week, and then you just buy a little bit of cryptocurrency with that. Which one you should buy, I don't know. That's up to you. But if you buy a little bit of it each week, then it adds up over time. And then there's this thing called dollar cost averaging that I guess comes into play there. That way you don't have to really worry yourself about, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? Well, something's going to happen. But either way, every week you're acquiring more cryptocurrency. And as we've seen, the trend is that overall, they tend to go up in value over time. Now, that's not guaranteed to continue. All of a sudden, everything could take a nosedive tomorrow and, everybody could bail out of it, but that seems unlikely. It seems that the more people that get into it, the more staying power it's going to have, the longer it's going to be with us, and the more successful and the more the price will go up. I mean, just looking at the market capitalization for all the cryptocurrencies combined, it went from $500 billion to $600 billion in 4 days. And before that, it was 6 days for the previous $100 billion. And then before that, it was 2 weeks. And before that, it was 3 weeks. So we're seeing a massive increase of interest in cryptocurrency. Now, whether it's going to pop, the bubble's going to pop, or whether it's an adoption curve, there's no way to know. The only way to find out is to watch and wait and see what happens. But rather than just waiting, I would suggest you might want to pick up a little bit. No more than you can afford to lose, because obviously the price could go down. But it seems to be doing, just generally, cryptocurrency seems to be doing very, very well. It's an idea that's time has come. And we're 9 years, basically almost 9 years into this experiment at this point. And there's a strong argument that we're still on the very, very low end of what this stuff could ultimately become worth. So right now, even though there's sticker shock at $20,000 per Bitcoin, or getting close to it, $20,000 US dollars per Bitcoin, it's important to remember that you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a tenth of a Bitcoin or 100th of a Bitcoin. And having a tenth of a Bitcoin or 100th of a Bitcoin is probably a better plan than having zero of them. Although Bitcoin itself, Bitcoin Core, is getting much more unwieldy to own and to manage. So that's why you're going to start to see other competitors like Bitcoin Cash and Dash and these others, they're going to start to be, I think, much more serious competition coming up in 2018. Now, that's a prediction on my part, but you're seeing news headlines of BitPay adding Bitcoin Cash. Blockchain.info just added Bitcoin Cash full support last week. These are two of the biggest providers in the Bitcoin universe that are now embracing Bitcoin's biggest competitor, which is Bitcoin Cash. So I think it's going to be a very interesting 2018, no doubt about it. Richard, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. As we continue here, our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. You're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Melanie. Hello, Sarah.
We had the biggest number of conventions this year.
Who's we?
Hello?
Who is we? Hello?
Hello?
I think there's something wrong at our board over there. I don't know. Some button probably got accidentally hit, because that happens every now and then. There's a lot of buttons on the radio boards, and board op might have accidentally punched one of them that made it so Sarah and our previous caller could not actually hear us. So apologies for that, Sarah. Let's go to David in New Mexico on Skype. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, normally I know what Sarah's talking about. This time I don't. You were talking about legitimacy of the trespass, a segment of the trespass process that you were involved in. And I wanted to apply that word legitimacy, especially since you have Melanie there, having gone to law school, to
you got 20 seconds. To me in
the UNM Law School event, where I was given the cops were called and I was told to leave and never come back or I'd be arrested because I'd asked a graduate student to dinner. I wanted to analyze that in terms of legitimacy, so I guess we'll have to do it another time.
Yeah, we would. But that is an interesting question, because if it's a public campus, you should have a right to be there as long as your taxpayer dollars are going to support it. But we are out of time for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow. You can join us online in the meantime at freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to SaveItPurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. SaveItPurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Monday, December 18th, 2017. Silver is trading at $16.11 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,260 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 6.4 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $18,753. Antiwar.com reports, adding to the ever-mounting civilian toll of the Saudi air war in Yemen, at least 10 women were killed on Saturday night in the Marib province when Saudi warplanes attacked the vehicle they were traveling in. Saudi officials have not commented on their rationale for attacking the vehicle, which was carrying only women and younger girls, but it was one of several vehicles headed home from the capital city of Sana'a after a wedding earlier in the day, which may be all the answer we'll ever get. The reality of the situation is that 2.5 years into the Saudi invasion of Yemen, fuel is in short supply, and that even obvious civilian vehicles traveling from one city to another are presumed to be up to something and are subject to being targeted, which doesn't explain why only the vehicle carrying the women was targeted, as apparently it was traveling in a convoy with male family members and other vehicles, but only the women were hit in the attack. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. UPI reports a power outage at an airport in Georgia on Sunday afternoon left thousands of passengers grounded. Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, the world's busiest airport, reported the power outage at about 1:32 p.m., stating it had impacted several areas of the airport. At 3:28 p.m., the FAA announced a ground stop for flights headed to Hartsfield-Jackson, meaning flights headed to Atlanta were held on the ground at their departure airport. The FAA said the FAA tower can operate normally, however, departures are delayed because airport equipment in the terminal is not working. The outage affected the train connecting the terminals, and Wi-Fi and cell service weren't fully operational. Georgia Power sent repair teams to the scene to work on the issue and said they believe the power outage was caused by a fire that caused extensive damage to an underground electrical facility. The Atlanta International Airport serves approximately 275,000 passengers and averages 2,500 arrivals and departures every day. For all carriers, more than 600 flights scheduled to fly out of Atlanta, or 54%, were canceled on Sunday as of 7 p.m., while 449 of all scheduled inbound flights were scratched. International flights due to land in Atlanta International Airport were being diverted to other Atlanta area airports. Power was eventually restored shortly before midnight. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? Then you need Spendabit in your arsenal, the search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit aggregates millions of products from thousands of Bitcoin-enabled merchants. Keep your money in the free economy. Visit spendabit.co today. Bitcoin merchants, ask about our merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.co. Reuters reports calming winds on Sunday helped slow the spread of a California wildfire that already ranks as the third largest in state history, having scorched 269,000 acres along the scenic Pacific coast north of Los Angeles. Officials said more than 8,500 firefighters were battling the so-called Thomas Fire in Southern California, which began on December 4th. It has destroyed more than 1,000 structures and threatened 18,000 others, including homes in the wealthy town of Montecito, just outside of the coastal city of Santa Barbara. The blaze, centered less than 100 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, has forced evacuations that turned neighborhoods into ghost towns and filled the air with smoke. Communities near Santa Barbara saw a break from the gusting winds that had stoked the fire and helped it spread, opening a window for firefighters to contain the disaster during the next 2 days. Strong winds persisted on Sunday in Ventura County, which remained under a red flag warning. Captain Rick Crawford of CAL FIRE said the threat level was expected to drop later in the day. The fire is now 40% contained, and firefighters were employing more than 970 fire engines and 34 helicopters to battle the blaze. You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Americans everywhere are enjoying their Sundays after successfully completing Mother's Day in less than 20 minutes this morning. Dads were able to wrap up breakfast in bed by 9:18 a.m., giving them plenty of time to mill about the garage for the rest of the afternoon. While children who spent a minute and a half this morning hugging their mothers are currently out playing street hockey. And after completely fulfilling their Mother's Day obligations with a store-bought card, teens are now free to leave and spend the day with their friends. The moms, who were quickly and efficiently lavished with cards, flowers, assurances of love, and 7 full minutes of family togetherness, praised the competency with which the holiday was carried out.
Oh, it was great. Charles and the kids made me feel completely appreciated, but they ended the holiday before I even got out of bed. Guess I'll go water the plants now.
But before the day-long celebration concluded early this morning, moms had their own job to do, making a brief, obligatory phone call to their own mothers.
This is the Onion News Network.
And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember. I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Today, let us make them remember. We are not afraid!
No fear here and declare your independence of me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the BEA beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, FreedomsPhoenix.com. Tim Pachote, man, he hooked up a great interview with Mr. Doug Casey, good friend. Oh, he's spoken at the Freedom Summit and all over the planet, had big influence on Mark and I, and we're just like, yep, what Doug says. And then we come to find out that Doug is just, he knew a lot for a long time. If you go to today's archive, you'll see that there is if you go into the archive in the first hour, there is an interview that he did with Phil Donahue. Now, we've had Phil Donahue on the show, and when he found out we were libertarian and so on, man, he didn't like it none too much, and now I know why. When Doug wrote the book that is a New York Times bestseller for like ever, and I think it was the one, it was Crisis Management. Investing, Crisis Investing. And when he did that in the early 80s, all of a sudden, man, it's New York Times bestselling. It's all over the place and here and talk about it. And if you listen to that show, it's the same as what he's going to say right now. So Doug Casey is, a treasure for all of us to understand what's happening and why, and he was yelling it and screaming it for a long time before. For over a quarter of a century, legendary investor and best-selling author Doug Casey and his team at Casey Research have been helping self-directed investors to earn superior returns through innovative investment research designed to take advantage of market dislocations, which means what I know about Doug, you want to invest in gold mine, guess what? He went and walked it. He's like, put a guy's, fingers dirty and stuff. He's out looking. And if you go to Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, the big draw, Doug Casey. I'm going to let Tim talk to Doug and get it all taken care of. But I just got to say hello, Doug. How are you?
Well, Ernie, it's a pleasure to be here with you. I'm speaking to you right now from Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Why?
Because I live down here a good part of the year.
Well, Cafejate, you hang out. There's a place that you guys had and land, and we have friends that bought land there, and it's just, when the zombie apocalypse will be a-coming, we'll be okay down in Cafejate. Is that where you spend most of your time?
Yeah, that's true. I do. I'm in Buenos Aires right now, but I do spend most of it in Cafejate, surrounded by high mountains and grapevines in a small aspen-like town. So it's a good place to hang out, because when things fall apart in the U.S. and Europe, I can watch it on my widescreen TV, not out my front window.
Well, I know that you make your own wine down there. Is it? What do you guys call it?
Well, the red wine is a Malbec, and the white wine is a Torrontés, and these are both specialties of Argentina.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna let Tim, do the interview. He's so excited when he went to Nexus to see, Peter Schiff and Max Kaiser and G. Edward Griffin, Doug Casey, Patrick Byrne, Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano. Man, a guy, investor like him that follows what you're doing and inspired by you. I can tell you, man, his head was spinning. But the Nexus conference to me was all the non-compliers. I go a few weeks later to Texas Bitcoin conference, and that was all compliers. So that's what we're seeing right now in this cryptocurrency thing. You got the comply side that's getting all muddled up and everything, and the non-compliers streamlining to doing whatever. But I want to go back to your well, I'll let Tim do it, but I'll certainly have some questions for you. Tim, go, man. Doug Casey, all you.
All right, good morning, Doug. So when we had met at the Nexus Earth Conference, obviously a lot has changed, even in the short amount of time. I mean, that was like 3 months ago, and in the Bitcoin or crypto market, I mean, a lot has changed in terms of the inertia, in terms of the momentum, in terms of us almost reaching a tipping point. So what I wanted to do is, Ernie, if we're hooked up for this, is I have a 1-minute clip from the Nexus Earth Conference when Doug gave a talk on Bitcoin that I wanted to play. So
yeah, just push the button.
All right, here we go.
Why am I bullish, however? Okay? When you listen to Peter Schiff, he's going to give you the 100% bearish pitch. I'll give you the reason why I think there's some upside left, and I'll tell you how I think it's true. Number one, looking at Bitcoin, and I know these are all different, there's only 21 million of them that can ever be issued. Okay, everybody knows that. How many people own Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in the world right now? I don't know if anybody knows. I heard 25 million. It's probably higher since I heard that. But 25 million is not so many people. 7.5 billion people in the world. Okay. So there's a lot of people that could buy it. The bubble could get bigger. It's a bubble right now, from my point of view. Anything goes up, and not just 10 times or 100 times. Since I heard about it, I mean, Bitcoin's gone up 3,000 times. This is kind of bubbly in a matter of a few years. It's not like a company that's got earnings and is growing, okay? Something goes up 3,000 times, and a lot of these things have done 1,000 or bubbly. Scares me. But I'm looking at the other side. Only 25 million people have them right now. You're hearing about them. But I'll tell you why it's going to be 250 million people or 2.5 billion people. And that's going to drive it higher. Where's the buying going to come from? I'll tell you exactly where it's going to come from. The third world.
Okay, and so I just wanted Doug to kind of respond to that, because now, I mean, so much has changed in even the short amount of time. And really, I mean, has your forecast for, you know, how big this bubble can get, you know, sort of ramped up even the timeline for this even quicker now that, you know, here we are at Bitcoin close to 18,000 as we sit right now?
Well, I'll stand by the fact that the third world is where the action is going to be, because 3/4 of the 7.5 billion people on this planet don't even have bank accounts, and they live in countries where the national currency are things like kwachas and pulas and dirhams and currencies which are worth little within the countries and nothing outside of their countries. So these people are unable to save. They're unable to improve themselves. They're all going to use Bitcoin, because in the third world, after you have food, shelter, and clothing, the next thing you do is you buy yourself a cell phone. And they're all getting into this. So they're small. I mean, they're penny ante, but there's a lot of volume. Right now, though, what's driving it at this moment are institutions that they're putting together ETFs, and hedge funds are getting into this and so forth. So what's happening with Bitcoin and the cryptos is there's buying pressure from the top, the very richest institutions in the world, and from the bottom, the very poorest people in the world. So it's a bubble, but it's going higher. The trend is our friend right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be taking the short side of Bitcoin right now. That would be, I think, a suicide move at the moment.
Yes. And I'm also involved, I've got to say, with crypto mining.
Oh, Doug, you mine? You're a crypto miner?
Well, not personally, but I'm a shareholder in Hive Blockchain, which has done deals with Genesis. Which is
We'll be right back with Doug Casey in just a little bit. You guys stay right there. From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown. Not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will not submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
Did you know you can listen to LRN.FM via our free-to-air satellite channels? We have channels over nearly all of North America and much of Africa. All you need is an affordable receiver and a dish as small as 30 inches. There are no monthly fees. Learn more at sat.lrn.fm. Plus, if you are a broadcaster or want to be one, this is a good delivery method for our content. See our coverage maps and get details at sat.lrn.fm. That's sat.lrn.fm. sat.lrn.fm.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
I don't need no stinking row ads. Where's my flying car? Well, I tell you what, Doug's out where you might need one. This one thing, this Doug Casey, the international man, go ahead and pimp your international letterhead and so on. Tell us what we should be knowing from you, Doug.
Well, look, the most important thing I can tell you right now is that people should be buying my novels because I've had a lot of good fortune writing nonfiction books about the economy and things of that nature. But there are a lot of things that you can say in fiction that you can't say in nonfiction. So last year, I wrote a book called Speculator, part of a series where I'm reforming the unjustly besmirched reputations of 6 highly politically incorrect occupations. So last year was Speculator, where our 23-year-old hero gets involved in a bush war in Africa while he's making a couple $100 million. And this year, he becomes drug lord, where he does become a drug lord, both with legal FDA-type drugs and, more importantly, illegal DEA-type drugs. We explain how the drug business works, how you do it. And next year, we're going to get more wild and woolly with assassin, as he becomes an assassin. So then it ramps up from there.
Oh,
so
ramps up from there. Man, you just want to...
Sounds pretty boring.
Yeah, you're painting over that bullseye on your forehead. What, you don't get enough attention?
Well, Ernie, first of all, nobody gets out of here alive. And we live in an entertainment economy. So at this point, I figure, what do I have to lose? Regrettably, I'm 71 years old. So, although, on the other hand, if Ray Kurzweil is right, and we can live indefinitely, if we can live just another 20 years, perhaps I'm being foolish. But anyway.
Hey, no, you got the resources to do it. Do it. You seem like you're a lot sprier and healthier, in the last couple of years, man. You eating right? You doing well?
Well, I've got a 3,000 square foot gym in Cafajate, and I like to use it. So, and I've always been a great believer in the Latin saying, mens sana in corpore sano, which is to say a sound mind and a sound body. But at the same time, the second law of thermodynamics is always working against all of us. So, look, we just do the best we can.
Well, you're going around the world, international man, around the world for investments, around the world for places to live. I'm wondering, what are you trying to get away from? What's the philosophy that you're living under and you think other people should emulate?
Well, here's the problem. It's that most people are like plants. They're born in one place and they stay in one place, which is not a good survival strategy for a human being, to act like a plant, or for that matter, to act like a medieval peasant. They're born in some village, and they've always heard that there might be dragons over that hill, and so they never go over there because they're afraid. So it's incumbent upon all of us to see as much as you can in other parts of the world. There are more opportunities. I'm always looking for on-level playing fields. You stay in the United States, you're on a level playing field. There's millions of people that have your background and the same amount of money and experience and everything. But you go to Africa, you're on an on-level playing field where you're way ahead of everybody else, and you can use that to your advantage.
And how I first found out about Doug is when I found out about the perpetual traveler lifestyle, and I was reading books on that, and I think that's how I first came across. It was probably the International Man blog several years ago. And I think it is important to have political diversification. I was looking into, how do I get a second passport and all this other stuff. And luckily my wife is from Canada, so she, will be taken care of, and so are my kids. But now I need to figure out a game plan for myself over here, because I see, the financial crisis that eventually is coming can happen in one of many different ways.
Is it eventually or is it here?
and I think what's most tricky for people to understand is that they see, people like you and me, we're just, doomsday sayers, but they just don't realize all the other things that are going on right now. Like you have central banks and whether it's in Switzerland that are printing up money out of thin air and buying the S&P 500, or whether you have the Bank of Japan printing up money to then buy the Nikkei 100, or whether you have, all these different shenanigans going around the world. So one of the scenarios that I'm looking at is, you could have the S&P 500 going up to the moon, but still being in a depression, just like what happened in Germany. And so I think we're in a very tricky situation right now. And if you had to, speculate as to what way it was going to happen. Do you think that we'll have some sort of maybe deflationary crisis first, where asset prices are going down, and then the central banks?
Yeah, give us a roadmap, Doug. I want to know exactly.
In 5 seconds. No, sorry.
Well, look, the analogy I like to use is that we entered a gigantic financial hurricane in 2007. And we went through the leading edge of the hurricane in 8 and 9 and 10. And we've been in the eye of the storm now for years as these governments all over the world, all of them, the Chinese, the Americans, the Europeans, Japanese, and all these little countries, have printed up scores of trillions of currency units to pour oil on the water. But when we go out through the trailing edge of the hurricane, it's going to be much different and much longer lasting and much worse than it was back in 2008 and 9. So that's the way I see it. It's very serious. These idiots are actually going to destroy the world economy by printing up currencies by the bushel basket.
Oh, I got a question for you, Doug. I'm sorry to interrupt your monologue, but this is good. I want to know right now. All right. Silver is so low, and I don't know it could go lower. I'm sure I've had guys on say, man, they're saying $10. So I'm going, okay, but man, it's a falling knife. I'm like, should I take some of my crypto profits and buy me some silver?
Yes, that's a very good trade right now, because I was at a gold and silver conference in San Francisco about a month ago, and it was supposed to be about precious metals and mining stocks. Nobody wanted to talk about that. They all wanted to talk about cryptos. So what you want to do, sure, the trend is your friend. And that's the argument for staying in cryptos. But at the same time, you want to be a bottom fisher. Buy stuff when it's cheap. Buy straw hats in the winter. Buy umbrellas when it's not raining. And now is the time to buy precious metals and mining stocks. They're really very, very cheap right now. And as these governments create many, many trillions more currency units, there are going to be other bubbles besides the bubble.
We're just going to go right through the break with Doug Casey, because lots to yak about. Go to top left of freedomsphoenix.com for the live stream, and you can hear every little thing. We'll sum up when we come back. We won't let you, the live audience, miss anything, but we don't want to miss a moment with Doug Casey, the international man. Casey Research. Just look up Casey Research.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Do you know the difference between erudite and pedantic? If you do, you're probably pedantic. But seriously, a surprising number of erudite people mispronounce erudite, which has 3 syllables, not 4. Say erudite, not erudite. Because you are judged by how you speak, you want to avoid common misstatements, especially if you're a job seeker. For instance, do you know the difference between imply and infer? Only a speaker can imply, only a listener can infer. And when you say you'll be out of pocket, do you mean out of touch?